Sessler.
And we're outside the Sony store at Metreon on the very eve of the PlayStation 2 launch.
Yes, we're hours away where a few hundred lucky people are hoping to receive a PlayStation 2 on the day of its launch.
Yeah, good luck.
Yes.
Because?
Well, due to the fact that there's not that many available right now.
No kidding. All these people are staying here all night in the cold and the impending rain. They don't even know if they're going to get one yet.
Plus, they had to bring in these PlayStation 2s under very tight security.
How tight?
Well, tight enough that they'd have to kill you if I told you.
Weird. Well, then, let's take a closer look at the PlayStation 2 and find out what all this fuss is about, what these people are waiting for. The demand is high. The hype is huge. The time has arrived. The PlayStation 2 has finally landed on U.S. soil. Only those lucky enough to actually get their hands on one will be able to see if the hardware measures up to the hype. The battle of the next generation consoles has officially begun. There's been tons of speculation about the PlayStation 2 in the past months, even years. We do know this: it's a 128-bit, 300 megahertz game console that also plays CDs and DVDs. And for now, it's the fastest gaming machine on the market.
Because of the technology that we've been able to pack into the PlayStation 2, it's going to offer a very compelling gameplay, more depth and character, if you will, more thick story plots because of the memory size that we have. Really a total emotional experience.
When you open your PS2 box, you'll find the sleek black console, of course, as well as one controller, the DualShock 2. Besides the cables and styrofoam, that's about it. If you want to invest in some peripherals, you can buy a multi-tap adapter or an 8-megabyte memory card. As time goes on, other peripherals will be coming from Sony, including a hard drive and an Ethernet connector, allowing gamers to go online. The arrival of the PS2 is the biggest consumer electronics launch in history. Sony hopes to ship 3 million units by March of 2001. So far, they've fallen short of their projected production, however. Sony originally promised that 1 million consoles would be shipped at launch. As it turns out, only half as many are coming ashore.
The delay that we've experienced in the PlayStation 2 production was just a combination of component shortages that we unfortunately did not expect.
The coming months will show whether or not Sony's able to make up for the production shortfall. Game developers have been hard at work creating games for the new console since its announcement.
Certainly with the PlayStation 2, we've been able to, again, pack a lot of technology into it and also, therefore, give the software development teams more colors on a palette, if you will.
The next generation for us as developers is extremely exciting. You know, that it's a clean sheet of paper. There's nothing there. There's no perception of what can be done.
I think the PlayStation 2 is an amazing piece of hardware. I'm having a great time with it. I know that the other pieces of hardware that are coming are also amazing. And there'll be things we can do with those that you can't do with the PlayStation 2, and that's okay. That's part of the evolution of gaming.
Well, the evolution of gaming has already taken casualties. Some companies have found it very challenging to develop for the PS2. Recently, Oddworld inhabitants decided not to port their new Munch's Odyssey game to the Sony console.
When we heard about the Sony platform, that was basically going to be so much faster and so much more realistic and all these wonderful things, you know, we went, well, of course, that's the platform we'd like to be on. But grappling with the inherent problems that one has when they're trying to create work that looks really real, and you're working on a console that just really can't deliver the kind of reality we're looking for. A lot of things we thought would be a hell of a lot easier, and they're not.
Regardless of the problems some developers have had, there's no denying that many of the games launching with the PS2 look stunning. Sony has about a year to establish the PS2 in the American gaming market before more competition arrives. Nintendo and Microsoft are watching carefully as they plan the release of their new machines. Part of Sony's strategy is to sell the PlayStation 2 as more than just a gaming console. With multiple inputs, such as USB and FireWire providing room for expansion, much more could be in store for this little black box. We're going to have some more information on the future of the PlayStation 2 coming up later in the show.
But given the significance of the evening, it would be appropriate for us to address one of the most common questions asked here at GameSpot TV. Which of the next generation console systems is going to be the best? Unfortunately, we can't answer that because we need to have each one in its finished form for us to actually give a true opinion.
Right, I mean, you can have the sickest list of hardware specs in the whole world, but it all comes down to the software implementation. Here, let me put it this way. If you have a top-of-the-line, really expensive force feedback steering wheel, but your game has a bad force feedback implementation, it's not going to be any use to you anyway.
And also, one system won't be the best for all people. Certain people like certain types of games that certain systems will specialize in. So don't think that just because the PlayStation 2 is your favorite, that it should be everybody's favorite.
Right, so when it comes down to it with all the next-gen consoles, show us the games.
Coming up on GameSpot TV, we battle samurais in medieval Japan in what looks to be one of the most promising strategy sim titles on the PS2.
TV in the front of the all-night PlayStation 2 line, and we are here with Paul, who is first. Paul, how's it feel to be first in line?
It feels great. You know, I've been waiting for this moment for a few days now, and I just can't wait till PlayStation 2 is ready to be sold to me.
All right, so Paul, how long you been here?
I've been here since 8:30 last night.
And it rained on you?
It rained, it was hot, it was cold. I went through it all with me and my buddies.
So this is a dedicated man. Now, his buddies were all here since midnight. They are...
My name's Nat.
Edgar. Rich.
All right, guys, so what game are you most looking forward to seeing come out on the PlayStation 2? Okay, here it is.
This battle shall decide the fate of Tokugawa.
If there's one company that knows its strategy simulation games, it's Koei. Their first contribution to the PS2 is Kessen. It's a title that follows in the tradition of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series, yet doesn't burden the player with the complexities seen in previous Koei releases. Kessen is based during the Shogun era of Japan. You initially take the role of Ieyasu Tokugawa, leading your troops to battle against Mitsunari Ishida. When engaged in battle, you can switch from the field map to the battle view. The latter can be fun to watch, as the skirmishes are done in real time. Visually, the sight of hundreds of soldiers on a battlefield is awesome, showing that Koei has put the PS2's hardware to good use.
Die!
The audio elements more than add to the game's epic feel. The dialogue is witty.
Fight me if you dare!
Take this!
The soundtrack is amazing, and the sound effects are realistic.
Take this!
Kessen will definitely be one for the Japanese history buffs, but because of its relatively easy interface, novice gamers should also take note.
This wealth of sonatas.
Your life is mine!
Well, here we are in line with Albert. We just saw Kessen, which is a strategy game. Do you play many strategy games?
Yeah, I like strategy games. They're kind of cool.
Yeah, I know that the Kessen's supposed to be a lot easier to play than some of the other Koei strategy games that have been out there. But that's not your favorite type of game, is it?
No, it's not really. I like the giant robot, like mech fighting games and stuff.
Like, and what is behind this?
Well, ever since I was little, I used to watch Robotech. I love like anything with big hulking metal things blowing stuff up.
Right, and there's a couple games that are mech-oriented that are coming out for the PlayStation 2. There's Armored Core 2 and
Gun Griffin Blaze.
It's just another day of sweating it out in your favorite mech. 2 years after the release of Gun Griffin 2, Game Art's Gun Griffin Blaze is out for the PS2, complete with mechs, non-stop action, and the horrors of a post-apocalyptic global power struggle. The core of your mission entails taking out everything from enemy mechs to helicopters, and the CPU has a more than decent AI, so your maneuvering skills will be put to the test. Complete your tasks, and you're rewarded with points that you can use to unlock a slew of secrets from new mechs to alternate level scenarios. Visually, the game excels in quantity. Enemies swarm around you, and there is never a shortage of particle and smoke effects. For continuity's sake, the sound effects have been lifted from the previous Gun Griffins, though the radio banter has been improved upon. Gun Griffin Blaze promises to be both fun and strategic without burdening the player with much realism. Coming up on GameSpot TV, we have football action. We jump on the gridiron with Madden 2001 for the PlayStation 2. And we get radical on the slopes in the awesome PS2 snowboarding title, SSX. Welcome back to GameSpot TV here, waiting for the PS2 at the Metreon in San Francisco. And joining me right now is Jeffrey. Now, there haven't been too many first-person shooter games available on most of the consoles, though I know you have a personal favorite.
Yes, I've been looking forward to Time Splitters on PlayStation 2. I have played a lot of 007 on the Nintendo 64. And seeing it's from the same group of programmers, I thought the gameplay on it was awesome. The multiplayer is one of the greatest things I really like about it. It's great having 4 people playing on the same time.
Yes, it's a good thing. And it's also being developed by a lot of the people from Rare that did work on GoldenEye. So without much further ado, let's look at Time Splitters. Time Splitters, a first-person shooter, adopts the aesthetics of B-movies, which means kooky characters abound. Imagine cop show detectives, aliens, and robots inhabiting places like cathedrals, graveyards, and otherworldly spacecrafts. And you've got this new game for the PS2. The game focuses on multiplayer combat, which allows for some knuckle-whitening shootouts. It's not an intellectual game. Time Splitters levels seem geared towards the mowing down of opponents. Prior to the matches, you and your fellow players select your characters. Player 1 sets the parameters for the match, such as the number of kills needed to win, the weapons and bots present, and the arena in which the battle will take place. The game also includes a level editor. Arenas with up to 8 floors can be constructed, and there are a variety of texture sets with which to decorate the arenas. Many things can be tweaked, from weapon availability and bot population to lighting effects. Every console needs a good shoot-'em-up game, and Time Splitters provides the PS2 just that.
So there was our look at Time Splitters, first-person shooter, classic gaming genre. Now let's move on to the fighting genre. Now I'm standing here with my new best friend, Richard. Why are you my new best friend, Richard?
Because we both love DOA too.
Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do. Now check it out. Look what he has right here. A blue bracelet. This means he is, in fact, getting a PlayStation 2. So why do you want DOA 2 hardcore so much?
Because, for one thing, they added more polygon counts that make it smoother. Anti-alias is intact. And I love the motion capture demonstrations they did just for PS2.
All right, cool. And all the new stages are totally awesome. I've got a bunch of them on tape, so let's take a look right here.
Dead or Alive 2 fans rejoice. Tecmo is hard at work on the hardcore US version. Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore will feature a whopping 10 unique game modes, with everything from an arcade-style story mode to a Tekken-like tag battle mode. The fighting in DOA 2 Hardcore is the same in both the Japanese and US versions. Face buttons are for standard punch-kick attacks, including killer combos with the D-pad. The shoulder buttons switch out characters in the tag mode. The most remarkable thing about the fighting in DOA 2 is its amazing reversal system. It takes definite finesse to pull off a counter, not a move for the button masher. The game sports some gorgeous backgrounds. There are several new arenas, all of which feature interactive environments and multi-level fighting. The game features amazing motion, spectacular lighting effects, and plenty of little realistic details. The characters are refined and beautifully rendered. Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore is a definite improvement over the Japanese PS2 version. Anyone who doesn't already have DOA 2 should definitely keep an eye out for this one.
Keep your mouth shut! Even if DOA 2 Hardcore is very similar to the Dreamcast version of the game, that doesn't mean that PS2 owners shouldn't have the chance to play it. Now we're being joined by Albert, Mike, and Jeremy, who are real big football fans. So guess what game we're about to talk about. First, what is the football game that you've been playing recently?
For PlayStation, Madden 2001, and for Dreamcast, NFL 2K1.
And you?
Same here.
NFL 2K1 for Dreamcast.
Yes, now that's a very impressive looking game. But now we have Madden 2001 for the PlayStation 2, which has definitely taken it one step higher. On the whole, Madden 2001 follows the same.
Welcome back to GameSpot TV on PlayStation 2 night in San Francisco. As you can see, it's starting to happen. They're letting the people in the doors to finally get their PlayStation 2s.
So we thought this would be the best moment to look at the launch title that has the greatest buzz around it.
That's right, it's a snowboarding title, unlike anything you've ever seen before. Check it out, SSX.
SSX looks to be the best all-around title to launch with the PS2, period. One of the major differences between SSX and previous snowboarding games is how well SSX balances racing and performing tricks. The game awards points and an adrenaline boost for the tricks you do. The adrenaline boost helps you race down the courses faster than you could on your own. This allows the game to be heavy on tricks while still keeping a fast-paced racing game edge. From the game's outset, you can select from 4 different characters, each of which has a different persona and boarding style. Progressing through the game by finishing in the top 3 of every course in the preliminary, semi-final, and final events unlocks more tracks, borders, special boards, and outfits. Let's get it on! The first 2 tracks are pretty standard. After that, things can get crazy. Tracks range from a run through a snow-covered city at night to a desert setting. The game gives you the freedom to explore the vast levels, which is how you find the hidden shortcuts that are almost necessary in order to finish in first place. Graphically, SSX is one of the most dynamic PS2 titles. The people in the game look like anime characters, and the textures used for the clothes and environments are rich and detailed. In the end, SSX is a very cool snowboarding game. Every element comes together and makes for a game that you'll want to play again and again.
We had a chance to play SSX, and I will tell you, it is a total blast, and also probably the closest I am ever going to get to actual snowboarding. Okay, as you can tell by all this noise behind us, we are just moments away from all these folks being able to get in and get those PlayStation 2s. So in the meantime, let's take a look at the intro of the week.
Well, the moment of truth is imminent, and I'm sitting up here at the front of the line with Nat. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Adam, but I'm a little tired.
Yes, I can understand that. You've been sitting out in the rain, you've been sitting here, you've been jumping through flaming hoops, but are you ready? Do you have your money?
Yes, I do. I brought $460, and 40 of it is in change in this bag right here with me.
All right, they're really going to love you in the Sony store when you pull that out. Well, we've seen what the PS2 is all about right now, but there's a lot more to come. Let's look at the future of the PlayStation 2. With the wait thankfully over and the PlayStation 2 finally here in America, it might seem like overkill to ask what the future has in store for the newest game console on the block. But Sony does have plans.
We wanted to make sure that the PlayStation is, number one, very future-proof in terms of how people enjoy their software, whether it's packaged media or whether it's through some sort of network connectivity or downloads.
Well, what does this mean exactly? The American PlayStation 2 will come with an open space in the back, a bay. This is for the addition of 2 peripherals available in the future, a hard disk drive and a broadband adapter.
There are some applications or some entertainment genres that inherently lend themselves to an online environment. And that would be, for example, exchanging information real time with the people that you're playing games with.
In other words, you can deathmatch with multiplayer shooter titles like Quake and Unreal Tournament, among other things. But when combined with the storage capabilities of the hard drive, new opportunities open up, such as with the 11th installment of the Final Fantasy series, which is being developed to be entirely online and played in real time. The storage space also opens up new horizons to keep your gaming rather timely.
Receiving real-time information in terms of news or, for example, stats on your football game to really renew or update what you have in your system.
Another use for the hard drive will be episodic games, as with the future Tomb Raider title. In this case, after the basic game disc is bought, new levels and adventures will become available for download to expand and extend its play. Even without the internet connection, the hard disk drive also makes possible the storage and streaming of information for multi-disc games, so elements from early on in a title can be quickly recalled and incorporated into the action. But Sony has more on its mind than gaming when it comes to the future of the system.
There's going to be a variety of things that everybody can do, whether it's exchanging information, whether it's text-based information, perhaps voice-based information, messaging, and sharing a lot of different data.
At this year's E3, Sony described the PlayStation 2 as being not just about gaming, but becoming the centerpiece of one's home entertainment system. And given their ownership of film, music, and electronics properties, their claim carries a lot of weight. At its heart, the PlayStation 2 still looks to be mainly about games. But when it comes to the future, we can rest assured it's anything but downhill.
Well, folks, we are finally here. It is midnight on October the 26th, and the PlayStation 2 is finally available for sale.
Can't believe we finally arrived after all that wait, but no, it is here. And if you want to find out everything about the PlayStation 2 itself and the games available at launch, then come by the GameSpot TV website.
All right, well, that's it for this current show, although if you think we're going home and going to bed now, you're totally nuts. So just for the moment, game over. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
When first sitting down with Serious Sam, a certain classic game may pop into mind. Yes, that game is Doom. The Croatian-based development group Croteam has recaptured the frenetic action that first got our fingers twitching feverishly in 1993. There is one significant difference, though. Serious Sam looks much better. The engine is unique to the game and promises something we don't see often in shooters: sunlight and bright colors. Beyond that, there's some remarkable architecture and a host of some of the most inventive monsters we've seen in a long, long time. Serious Sam focuses on action. Creatures are thrown at you in large, unrelenting numbers, which forces you to use increasingly heavy firepower to hold them at bay. The compatibility test demo shown here has already fueled heart palpitations and a growing fan base. Look for Serious Sam in the middle of the year.
We are looking forward to spending some serious time with Serious Sam. Now, our next title falls into the genre.
Ever since Dolly the sheep found herself with an identical twin, cloning has been a big global buzzword. Of course, it's illegal to clone humans, unless it's for games. Gamers have been able to create customizable skins for a long time, ranging from superheroes to cartoon characters. Making a skin of yourself can be a painstaking pixel-by-pixel process. 3Q has made it as easy as stepping into a photo booth. Technology created in Britain for facial surgery has led to the 3Q Clone Generator, an advanced digital scanning system that puts you right in the middle of the action. Want to get cloned? First, you step in front of the cameras in the 3Q booth. Digital Scanning Photogrammetry, or DSP, will then produce a 2,000 polygon 24-bit scan of your face. You can accent your look by adding buzz cuts, facial scars, or even weight. Your clone is downloaded onto a CD, and all you have to do is install it into your game. The Clone Generator is compatible with Quake 3, Unreal Tournament, Half-Life, The Sims, and all games built on those engines. For $25, you can have yourself cloned at Babbage's in Dallas, Seattle, and San Jose. More locations are coming soon.
Another
changing in the
created by Cyan. Now there's a new developer, Presto, working on Myst 3 Exile.
When Myst debuted in 1993, it revolutionized adventure gaming. Interactivity and gameplay were taken to a new level. Myst is the top-selling game of all time. Riven was the successful sequel that expanded the look and scope of the Myst realm. The reins of the Myst universe have been transferred from Cyan Studios, who developed the first two games, to Presto Studios. Presto is hard at work on the third installment of the Myst series, Exile.
It's the same basic puzzle setup which we've had in Myst and Riven, and people are familiar with that. It's a very simple interface, almost lack of interface really. Sort of click around the world, wander around, stumble across a puzzle, have that as a challenge, let that take you on. It's so amazing being able to pan around in these worlds. While animations are playing, you can still look around, you can still pan around.
The story of Exile picks up 10 years after Riven ends. Atris and Catherine have moved into a new home, and they're trying to start a new life together and forget a lot of the problems of their past. The player's going to have to go through about 5 different worlds. The player's going to have to go through these ages and investigate the past and the story behind this villain in order to stop him from getting his revenge.
Hello, Atris. An age is one of the environments in the game. And what we've attempted to do is to try to create as many distinct environments as possible so that the player has a real sense of traveling to a lot of very different exotic locales. For example, we have ages that are completely organic, where all of the puzzles, all of the what would normally be mechanical devices are actually grown into the age.
In order to create a distinct look for each of the ages in Exile, design teams are grouped together by the age they're working on. Each team has a lead designer steering the vision of the level.
The age I'm working on is an inverted tree. It's the branches and the leaves are all inside the trunk. And this trunk of the tree is about 700 feet tall, 500 to 600 feet wide. We digitally shot trees and plants and flowers and that sort of thing, and then went in and manipulated them to get our surrealistic effect. I've never seen anything like it before in any game, and I'm really pleased with those results because it's dynamic. It's very, very dynamic.
Myst games really are about the story and the interaction with the characters, and we spent a lot of time really focusing on that.
I'm so glad to see you.
We have live characters which look real in worlds which look real, and you put the two together, and it's very difficult to make a distinction between what was, you know, the whole, you know, what is it live or is it Memorex? You know, was it CG or was it real people?
In addition to seeing characters and backgrounds, the player will also hear impressive new music composed for the game.
Ambient music in Myst and Riven was groundbreaking. The main ways we tried to improve on it were to do an orchestral score for the cinematics and to maybe give a few other pieces of music to tell the player they had accomplished something major in the game.
Now that the game is coming together, and every single person I show it to, when I see the smile on their face as they start to look at it, it balances out with this incredible sense of, oh yeah, I think we got it. I think they're really going to like this.
Myst 3 Exile will be immersing players starting in April.
Now, Wolfenstein 3D was a game that turned many a casual gamer into an addict in a matter of hours, and it also helped establish the highly ubiquitous first-person shooter genre.
Well, at last spring's E3, we got a sneak peek at the follow-up, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which is due out later this year. So to whet your appetite, we thought we'd show you our interview with Drew Markham, the game's creative director.
Castle Wolfenstein was the game that started the first-person shooter. It was arguably the first game to sort of let you move around in the first person, which means looking out of your own eyes as opposed to seeing the character. And nothing short of revolutionary as far as that goes. I mean, everybody just went, wow, what's this? This was just such a leap in the amount of visceral experience that you got in that web. I'm here. I'm actually in this room. And I remember several publishers telling me, this is a fad, you know, people aren't going to want to do this. This is good. This is like a couple of years and this will all be over with. And it's just like, no, this is a firm genre now. This is its own thing. When we started the design process for Wolfenstein, the biggest thing that we wanted to carry over was fun. And that was the thing that people seemed to have the most in the first game, a good time. This Return to Castle Wolfenstein is almost kind of retro in a way. I mean, it really kind of harkens back to that sort of golden age of the first-person shooter, but having all the freedom that we have with the engines now, which is, you know, to be able to look up and down and have vast expanses. But it's about fun. The plot basically centers around Himmler and the SS and a lot of sort of fictional divisions of the SS that didn't really exist, but that we've built, an occult division that we have, a paranormal division, the genetic scientists, and their desire to basically create something, a power, an evil power under their control that will spell complete disaster for the Allies and the free world. We have the Nazis able to pick up grenades and throw them back at you. You throw a grenade at them, they'll pick it up and they'll throw it back. First and foremost, this is a single-player experience. That's the main thing that we want to have be really, really, really great, is that you can sit by yourself in a room with the lights turned down and the sound turned up and get
Systems once again, courtesy of a partnership between Infogrames, DC Comics, and Warner Brothers. The license with DC Comics and Warner Brothers consumer products allows Infogrames to create games based on the Superman comic books for the Sega, Sony, and Nintendo consoles. To find out more about goings-on in the game industry, come to the GameSpot TV website.
Or you can spend a little more time with Lauren Lanning and Sherry McKenna in streaming video.
Coming up on GameSpot TV, football is upon us, and we look at this season's top players. Plus, the mitochondria are mutating, and the results are rather unpleasant.
Gameplay. Now, they retooled the game to make it more like a Resident Evil survival horror game. Let's see what the result is.
Parasite Eve 2 is an action-adventure game with an impressive cinematic style. The sequel takes place shortly after the events of its predecessor, Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve was a genuinely spooky action-adventure title in which police officer Aya Brea saved the world from a mutated mitochondrial menace. Most of the original's RPG elements have been replaced with a survival horror style a la Resident Evil. Graphically, Parasite Eve 2 definitely hits its marks. The static settings are well detailed, from ambient lighting to glossy marble floors. Detailed doesn't necessarily mean pretty. These monsters are mutated humans and animals that can give you a serious case of the creeps. Thanks to Parasite Eve 2's totally overhauled combat, you can shoot the monsters first and ask questions later. Battle is in real time. Aya has more than conventional weapons at her disposal. She can also use one of her parasite energy, or PE, powers. These powers are divided among 3 abilities in each of the 4 elements and cover everything from healing to immolation. Aya unlocks and improves her PE powers with the experience points she earns for killing monsters. In addition to experience, Aya gains bounty points for each kill, which she uses to buy weapons, ammo, and armor, an RPG element that shouldn't have made it into the sequel. At least Parasite Eve 2 features a helpful mapping system that keeps you from getting lost as you run back and forth to unlock new doors. Parasite Eve 2 still maintains a few of its predecessor's gameplay bogging RPG elements, but is still a definite improvement over the original. It's a stylish, well-designed title and close contender with all the latest horror-themed action-adventure games. GameSpot.com gives Parasite Eve 2 a 7.4 out of 10. Coming up on GameSpot TV, there's sheer madness ahead in our preview of Sheep. And Fozzie Bear and Gonzo learn how to drive in Muppet Race Mania.
All work, no play makes Jack a dull boy. Work, play, dull boy. Work, play, work, play,
Play! It's what Electronic Gaming Monthly is all about. How to score on some serious fun. Order EGM today and get your hands on the #1 source for what's hot, hip, and hyped on the electronic playground. Each month, EGM brings you the best news and features on Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Sega Dreamcast, Game Boy Color, and more. Plus, first peek previews and honest, hard-hitting reviews from around the world. So what are you waiting for? Call today to get EGM and get in on the buzz. Want the inside scoop on the Star Wars games? Oh yeah, we got it first. Or all the dirt on the Dreamcast and PlayStation 2 launches? It's in here too, baby. Plus, with your subscription to EGM, you'll receive access to our very own review crew of gaming junkies. And they tell the truth, so you don't get stiff. Reason right there to subscribe. So call now. You'll also receive a free gift with your paid subscription. And it's not a football phone. It's our 500 Hottest Tricks booklet, the #1 source for tips, strategies, and secret codes for kicking butt on more than 100 of the hottest games out there. So why not use your credit card and order EGM today? Come on, you know you want it. Call now to get 12 months of InfoPack gaming issues delivered right to your mailbox for only $19.97. That's 67% off the newsstand price. You save almost $40. And with your paid subscription, you'll also get the 500 Hottest Tricks booklet, loaded with butt-kicking info. Absolutely free. So don't be a dull boy. Order Electronic Gaming Monthly today and start playing seriously. Call 1-800-952-6622 to subscribe now.
Metreon. You know, one of the best things about being a PC gamer is downloading demos for free.
Yes, now there are many of them that are out there, so we've decided to go ahead and pick some of our favorites. Attempting for deeper action gameplay is Delta Force Land Warrior. The game is initially notable because unlike previous Delta Force titles, it does fully support 3D acceleration, and as a result, it looks very good.
Oh, Nick, it's a goal.
It's a little heavy-handed in its militaristic viewpoint, but the demo offers a tense experience of trying to liberate deadly biological materials from terrorists in Egypt's Valley of the Kings. Without health nor extra ammo, the demo forces you to rely on stealth and planning. You can't rush into a battle because one bullet usually means the end. It's not for everyone, but it's definitely worth checking out if you're intrigued. If there's one PC game that's worth checking out so far this year, it's Deus Ex. The game is a hybrid of a shooter and a role-playing game, as you build the specialties of a mechanized United Nations operative. Deus Ex is the closest one can come to feeling like they have free decision-making in a game. Playing the demo won't mimic the immersiveness of the entire title, but if you want to know what all the hullabaloo has been about, this is an excellent way to discover it.
That's the difference right there.
While it's been on the internet for a while now, if you haven't heard of Serious Sam and you like a good hyperactive shooter, you need to be acquainted. Developed by a Croatian development team called Crow Team, the game is an attempt to capture the overwhelming experience of the classic Doom. The game pits you against hordes and hordes of wonderfully inventive creatures that come at you in increasingly larger numbers as you desperately attempt to deal with them with less and less time to think. The game is also notable for its open and bright level design from an entirely original engine. No, this is not a thinking man's game, but there's a lot of adrenaline pumping after just 5 minutes of play. If you liked any or all of those downloads we just showed you, they're available for your hard drive at the GameSpot TV website. Now, given the wild success of Pokemon, it would only seem natural that there be a few imitators. And our intro of the week comes from one of them, the digital version, Digimon.
I think Potiker coached for a long time. I don't think he did either.
Hello and welcome to GameSpot TV here at the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. I'm Adam Sessler.
And I'm Kate Patello. So, what makes the Winchester Mystery House so mysterious? Sarah Winchester, who was the widow to the Winchester rifle fortune, was terrified that she was under a curse by all the people who had been killed by Winchester rifles.
So, under the advice of a medium, she moved out west and was instructed to continually build upon her mansion.
160 rooms, and 38 years later, Sarah Winchester was finally at peace.
Now, that is a rather novel way of dealing with your personal demons. Of course, we prefer to do it the virtual way. Fear resides in many places. It pervades the house on the abandoned lot. It lurks in the corridors of a darkened alley. What is this? It waits in the shadows of the woods. the Gothic Castle, the high seas. Horror comes from unknown ghouls, demons, forces of evil, and sometimes from within. The unseen, the unknown. The darkness has sent tremors of terror through humanity since the dawn of time. What are we afraid of? Hideous monsters, the unknown, evil. It's not enough to see silver screen vampires or watch creatures created in an evil lab. Now virtual ghouls haunt 3D worlds, waiting to strike when we are most vulnerable. Vampires lurk, longing to sink their teeth into bared necks. Acidic aliens lie in wait to crush your skull and gorge on your flesh. Skeletal demons make up for their lack of muscle by wielding nasty weapons. And when all else fails to frighten, there's always the undead.
What are they? No!
In the interactive world of video games, you are able to face your biggest fears and annihilate them before they devour you. Or not. So do these virtual specters reinforce our horror, or do games allow us to face our fears and destroy them? Who cares? It's just fun to be scared.
When I was little, the monster that scared me the most was the tentacled beast that lived inside the plumbing, but I don't think they're gonna make a game about that anytime soon. Make sure you come by the GameSpot TV website and let us know what spooks you by voting for the game that keeps you up at night. Resident Evil, Sanitarium, Alone in the Dark.
Coming up on GameSpot TV, we'll never go into the woods again, now that we have the review of the new Blair Witch game. Chester was deeply interested in the mystical world. After all, she consulted a medium before she moved out west and built the house. And to this day, psychics feel that there's a certain ghostly presence wandering around in the halls. Adam, I know you're back there.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm personally haunted by the $850 that I spent on the Blair Witch Project. I guess one of the nice things about the movie is that it had a pretty interesting backstory, and that's what made it into the new Blair Witch game, which is far, far scarier than the movie ever was.
Blair Witch Volume 1, Rust in Par, is a mixture of both adventure and Resident Evil-style action. The game, by Terminal Reality, is a quasi-sequel to their title Nocturne, and has you play Elspeth Doc Holliday, who works for the Spook House agency from the original game, and features appearances from its hero, Stranger. Not surprisingly, the game also uses the Nocturne engine, which means its problems are very present. Like all games of this type, it uses a shifting third-person perspective, which makes combat frustrating and difficult. The designers have one suggestion, and that is, find a better camera angle. Finding a better design would have been nicer. Combat is further hampered by the inconsistent auto-aiming that can leave you shooting at the clouds in a tense battle. Luckily, the game isn't all about combat, and when the game is more about adventure and subtlety, the creepiness is very effective. One good example is an early scene where you hear and investigate a noise from your bathroom. It's gleefully tense by just suggesting something bad. Once you finally see the creatures, it feels like overkill.
A Daemite?
One of the true benefits of the Nocturne engine is its remarkable lighting and shadow rendering abilities. This game is driven by atmosphere, and there's little question that this is the game engine to do it with. Rust in Par is inconsistent, but fun. The scary parts and good puzzles make it possible to overcome the problematic combat. The game may not take that long to finish, but it's a pretty unsettling ride along the way. GameSpot gives it a 7.1 out of 10.
We're now in the room where Sarah Winchester used to hold seances. Now, at the time, it was a common practice for spiritualists to get together and wait for the spirit world to communicate with them via a series of knocking sounds. Yeah, spirit world, I'll be right there. Now, let's move from the world of the spirits to the world of the undead, to a game based on the very popular Japanese novel and anime, Vampire Hunter D.
Okay, I'm locked in here.
Yeah, I'll be right there. Vampire Hunter D is an action-adventure game based on the anime by Hideyuki Kikuchi. You are a vampire hunter named D, the offspring of human and vampire hired to rescue a kidnapped girl. The game is similar to Resident Evil, especially in gameplay and control, with the addition of a few extra moves. The main character can jump, guard, and strafe, which would seem like an advantage, but is it? The control in this game is almost out of control. Take jumping, for instance. It's hard to judge distances on a flat graphic, so aiming your jump is a trial. You'll also want to jump to attack flying enemies, but may end up doing a backflip instead. Being faced with multiple enemies is difficult as well. There's no auto-target function in Vampire Hunter D. In many instances...
Dare you hunt us for the humans? Shame on you!
The graphics are nothing to backflip over either. The bulk of detail goes to D himself, leaving everyone else looking blocky. D draws his sword with a satisfying flourish, but that's about it. There's nothing satisfying about the music either. The generic techno score is totally uninspiring. Overall, much like most other Resident Evil clones, the game just doesn't capture the magic of the Resident Evil series. Die-hard fans of the anime may find some value here, but for 10 hours worth of gameplay, it's more of a rental than a purchase. GameSpot.com gives Vampire Hunter D a 5.5 out of 10.
So how about them vampires, huh? Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. Good, spooky RPG, but it did have some gameplay problems. But you know what? Nothing fixes gameplay problems like a good old-fashioned cheat.
Playing Vampire the Masquerade Redemption and feeling like a fledgling? Here's some cheats to take you from Neonate to Elder before the sun comes up. First, you have to play the game in console mode. In your Windows Run menu, type the path and executable for Vampire and add the line console after the quotation marks. After you've launched the game, type a tilde to access the console. To play in Infallible Vampire God mode, type God 1. For more experience points, type XP and the number of points you want. Need some cash? Type cash and the amount of cash you want. To learn the whole spellbook, type Add All Disciplines. For full health, type Revive.
I am awakened.
And if you can't take it anymore, kill yourself off by typing Kill Me. Coming up on GameSpot TV, there's more terror in the woods in our preview of the Evil Dead game. Mystery House.
Now, one of my personal favorite cult horror movies is unquestionably Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead.
And of course, like all things good, it's been made into a game.
We're incorporating elements of the first two movies into a new storyline that sort of continues the ongoing saga of Ash and the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon. The game story takes place about 8 years after the events of the last movie, and in this new story, he actually goes back to the cabin that's, the familiar location from Evil Dead 1 and 2, and the game basically starts there. It's a survival horror game, very similar to Resident Evil, where you have a combination of action, puzzle solving, and exploration, all within the confines of the Evil Dead universe. It is a little bit more true to Evil Dead 1 and 2 in that it's first and foremost a scary game, you know, with the pop-up scares and whatnot, but it will incorporate a lot of the humorous elements that really came from Bruce Campbell and the one-liners and the whole character of Ash being such a smartass, basically.
What's that? Oh, your mama's calling.
The first half of the game takes place in the woods. It starts off at the cabin, which will provide a familiar environment to all the fans, but that's just a starting point. While you can go through all the different rooms in the cabin, and we've really, been faithful to the movie. It's a, accurate representation of what it looked like. We've added new locations within the woods, but really it's only about half the game. The second half of the game takes place in ancient Damascus, so it's really, these two halves. I know Evil Dead fans are very protective of Ash and everything from the films, and that's why we're really trying to remain true to it all, because that's what fans would want, that's what we obviously want.
If you've seen the Evil Dead movies, you know they're really funny. Disgusting, but really funny. Now, of course, the living dead is a classic fear. Here's another one for you. The monster wrestling in the bushes. How about a really, really big monster?
The dinosaurs are back, and this time it's personal. It's Dino Crisis 2, and the government has once again ruptured time with evil experiments. A cleanup crew of operatives arrives to save the day, but only 3 survive. Your roles alternate between the surviving operatives, Regina and Dylan, dino hunters, and David, a support character. Yeah! Each has unique abilities, and they'll need them. This is one serious dino crisis. There are many types of dinosaurs on the island, and sometimes they run in packs. Capcom has devised a completely new combat system for Dino Crisis 2. It's fast and simple with an urgent pace. You win points for each dinosaur you kill, earning a combo bonus for neutralizing more than one in a short period of time. That's much easier when you can run and shoot at the same time. And the new battle system lets you do just that. Presuming you've lived long enough to hit the select button, you can access the inventory screen to manage items, read files, or hit the first aid kit for a hemostat. The fear in Dino Crisis 2 is made palpable by excellent graphics and sound. The pre-rendered emerald jungles are lush and rife with danger. Velociraptors burst from the shadows, allosaurs shake the ground beneath them, and the effects are genuinely scary. Dino Crisis 2 avoids the stereotypes of the survival horror genre and delivers a novel take on the third-person action shooter. GameSpot.com gives Dino Crisis 2 a 9.2 out of 10.
If you are a fan of the original Dino Crisis, don't be put off by all the changes in the sequel. It is a whole lot of fun to play, even if it isn't sticking to its survival horror roots. Now, another game that many people know is a whole lot of fun to play is Diablo 2. But one thing that gets overlooked are the incredible CG sequences in the game. So here's a look at the intro, because it's pretty creepy.
Coming up on GameSpot TV, just when you think it's over, they rise again from the dead. The zombies just keep coming. We find out why.
GameSpot TV at the Winchester Mystery House.
Right now, we're in the Winchester Ballroom, which was built specifically for a visiting orchestra that never actually arrived.
In human form.
Now, Sarah Winchester, of course, had all of these mystical leanings that have incorporated themselves all over the house. She was clearly not a triskaidekaphobic.
In human form.
There are 13 gas lamps in the chandelier, 13 panels in the ceiling, 13 stairs leading to the 13th bathroom. Are you going to say in human form now?
No, I'm going to talk about Resident Evil. which is, of course, not the first horror game, nor will it be the last, but one of the most celebrated. And so this is a small valentine to those games that kept me up at night.
In human form.
Ah, the Living Dead. What really can be said about them that hasn't been said already? They've been with us in many forms, but unquestionably one of the most popular and seemingly enduring treatments has been in the Resident Evil series. So what has made these games work and become so revered in the halls of gaming? Well, the simple answer is that they're fun and really, really scary. But how has it worked time and again? First off, there's the story. From the first incarnation, the Resident Evil games had developed a virtual mythos around the shadowy Umbrella Corporation and its unpleasant T-Virus, as we follow the travails of its host of characters. Like any good story, the tale evolves from game to game, resolving a little each time, but always creating more questions than it answers. And there's something just plain unsettling when humans seem to number fewer and fewer. But good stories are best in their natural states, books. What's important is how it's designed as a game. While many might see the primarily pre-rendered background and awkward third-person perspectives in the Resident Evil games as a limitation, just think of how you never really know what's going to be beyond the frame of each shot. Then there's the gameplay. Rather than just be a straightforward action shooter, the pacing is more dramatic and rhythmically broken up by acquiring information and solving several puzzles, albeit many ridiculous ones. This way, when things get hairy, it's not always expected, and hence, rather frightening. But perhaps the most celebrated aspect of the Resident Evil games has been their sound. Nothing conveys dread more than hearing the virally inebriated rumble of a zombie before you see it, and not knowing where it's coming from. The quiet footsteps you emanate down dark and empty hallways succeed in making you all too aware of just how alone you are. But with our attention paid towards audio issues, there's also the now beloved voice acting.
Don't open that door!
It's so gloriously obvious and ridiculously atrocious.
Hey, I'm no ordinary civvy. I'm a member of STARS.
Maybe it would be nice to have true feelings expressed from these characters.
It was dirty work, but this area is now clean.
But after this long, it might take away from the campy fun of it all.
Chris is our old partner, you know.
And that's what the Resident Evil series is all about. The campy joy of all those horror movies we know and love, and the chance to be part of them and get scared all over again.
Well, now that we've had a look at Resident Evil games, let's take a look at a game that's Resident Evil-esque. Parasite Eve 2. Very scary, mutant mitochondria on the loose. Believe us, you're going to want some help, so here's our strat guide. I'm not scared. Keep trying.
There's nothing like unloading rounds into mutated neo-mitochondriatic scum. The freaks of Parasite Eve 2 might have strength in numbers, but you have mad skills, a heavy-duty arsenal, and most importantly, GameSpot TV on your side. Use these tips to get you and Aya through the missions while keeping your stomach intact. Tip 1. Don't stop looking. You'd be surprised what you can find in the game if you just keep pressing X, which is your inspect button. Don't hesitate to search everything. From store shelves to recently deceased SWAT team members, who knows what you might come across with a simple press of the X. If a part of a room looks like it might contain an item, it most likely will. A keen eye is a must, especially when it comes to solving the game's puzzles. Tip 2. Remember your parasite energy. PE helps in conserving your ammo, and at least you won't have to deal with reloading your gun. You should also make use of the PE's area of effect. Narrow areas are good for taking out distance opponents, while concentrated areas are great in toasting tightly knit groups. Using your powers could mean the difference between staying alive and pushing up daisies. Tip 3. Kill everything. The only way you can unlock new parasite energies is by spending bounty points, and the only way to earn bounty points is by engaging the enemy. While you might want to get through your objectives as quickly as possible, you'll be doing yourself a favor by passing through infested areas and spring cleaning. Always check your map periodically. Any area colored in red means that enemies in that area are waiting to eat lead. So remember, keep looking, be a black magic woman, and kill everything, if you can.
For another look at our Parasite Eve 2 strategy guide, head on over to the GameSpot TV website.
And while you're there, don't forget we're giving away 14 PlayStation 2s. The prizes are provided by Blockbuster.com.
So if you want to be the coolest kid on your block, head on over to the site and take our next generation gaming quiz for your chance to win.
We'd like to give a great big thanks to everyone here at Winchester Mystery House for hosting us today. And if you want to find out more about this incredible place, go to WinchesterMysteryHouse.com.
Well, that's about it for this edition of GameSpot TV.
Yes, it is.
Until next time. Game over. Man, stop. Quit it.
Don't open that door!
It launched. We look at the hardware and software for the new system. Stick around. It's game time.
Grand Theft Auto 3 takes center stage. It's extended play coming at you next, only on Tech TV.
Hey, this is Dylan Hart Jr., NASCAR driver of the Budweiser number 8 car. You're watching Extended Play.
Coming up on Extended Play, we review the riotously controversial Grand Theft Auto 3 for the PC. We step into the eternal darkness on the GameCube, and we find out how to get rid of those pesky undead in Resident Evil. Stick around. It's game time.
Hello?
Hello and welcome to Extended Play from Metreon in San Francisco. I'm Adam Sessler. Since its release in late 2001, Grand Theft Auto 3 has probably been the most talked about and definitely been the best-selling console game of the past few years. Up until now, only fortunate PlayStation 2 owners have been able to experience what is a very remarkable game. Now, there is an Xbox version in the works, but that's a long ways off. Right now, you can play it on a whole different platform, your PC.
Source of gratification in your miserable, insignificant life. Hell Radio.
Well, Grand Theft Auto 3, the #1 selling PS2 game in the US, has now come to the PC. For those of you not familiar with the game, in it, you play a character in an urban wasteland who goes about doing the bidding of various underworld figures. You've probably heard quite a bit about the violence in the game. Yes, it's very violent. It's not for kids, but that's not what makes the game so fun. It's the sense of freedom you have as you go about doing those missions in a very large game space.
I live alone, so of course I needed a car that could seat 12 and is equipped to drive across Arctic tundra.
Riffs 106.
The biggest difference you're going to find with the game is in the controls, because now you can use a mouse and keyboard rather than the PS2 controller, though you can use a gamepad. But what we found is the on-foot part works better with the mouse and keyboard. Aiming with a mouse is much easier than with an analog stick. Now, on the other hand, driving has a very steep learning curve. Using the WASD setup doesn't allow for the same finesse as you would get from the PS2 controller. Still, all the controls are fully customizable, so you can set it up in a way that suits you best.
Giving you the best of the best. Only on K-Job.
The Lord said, love thy brother than thyself, and everything will be made possible unto you.
The graphics have improved. The resolution is higher, and the draw distance is very, very impressive. But really, this is more of a refinement rather than an overhaul of the graphics from the PS2 version. The polygon count is still very low, and we've noticed a lot of seams and clippings in the visuals. What we have encountered, even on a high-end PC, are graphical hiccups that directly affect the gameplay. Suddenly we'll see stutters that can affect your ability to aim or steer your vehicle around tight corners. This wouldn't be such a big deal if there wasn't already a perfect version of the game in existence. That's the PS2 version. If you can only play this on a PC, don't deny yourself one of the best gaming experiences of the past few years. But if you have a PS2, stick with that one. The improved graphics don't make much of a difference. This is a 5-star game that's held back by technical problems. That's why we're giving it a 4 out of 5.
For people that just can't let go. Flashback FM.
And now for a look at the top-selling PC games. The third expansion pack for the incredibly popular Sims franchise takes your hard-working characters to a playtime paradise. The Sims Vacation by Maxis takes the number 3 spot. The Force is indeed strong with Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast from LucasArts. Developer Raven Software's talent with the Quake 3 engine proves to be a hit with fans. It's at number 2. And the number 1 selling PC game goes to another Raven game, Soldier of Fortune 2. This ultra-violent shooter takes the concept of blood and guts to a ridiculous extreme. Coming up on Extended Play, we go mercenary in our review of Soldier of Fortune 2. And we battle evil in the underworld in Eternal Darkness for the GameCube.
Hey, ready for something new? This is Tech TV.
With a look at the coolest new stuff.
Television with a new twist, a bright idea, and a brand new perspective. It's robots and rocket cars. It's a digital pick and animated flick. It's a thrill ride. It's your gear guide. It's a puppet on a mission with a lead foot. It's a Top Gun, a home run. It's a factory fresh, fuel-injected, supercharged, supersonic, super friend. It's Tech TV.
First reconfigurable luxury SUT. Cadillac Escalade EXT. Breakthrough.
David Bradley, you are our cost challenge winner.
Wow!
Here is your prize, $10,000. Your idea to integrate all our suppliers on one network saved us $1 million.
Integrate what? You are David C. Bradley. I'm David A. Bradley.
E-business is the game. Play to win.
These are the beasts of burden, the pack mules. They trudge diligently at their master's command. This creature will live a hard life, shouldering great burdens every day, instead of roaming free like his cousin, the wild stallion.
The Nokia Communicator. The ability to do just about everything without having to carry just about everything. Nokia, connecting people.
Sorry, I got that receipt in here somewhere. Driver's license, bus transfer, $1 off fish sticks.
Actually?
Floss. Just in case. Movie stub, mint.
Actually, we keep everything right here, just in case.
Right. Just in case.
People lose stuff. That's why we can store purchase and warranty information automatically, so you won't have to search anymore. Circuit City, we're with you.
Floss? Who flosses anyway?
I floss.
I floss too.
We had gotten so disgusted with the machine and so fed up with it that we decided to try to upgrade. We were lured by the iMac. Then we looked at the operating system and said, wow, this is possibly the best operating system I've ever seen. We plugged it in, she answered 4 questions, and she was surfing the internet. We were absolutely silent and stunned by this. It's not just for artists. It's not just for pointy-headed intellectuals from California. It's for us. It's for programmers. It's for developers. This thing is an all-around computer. I can use this for everything. I'm Dave Haxton. I'm a programmer by trade.
Welcome back to Extended Play. All right, we have 2 big games coming up for you now. One is Eternal Darkness. This is Nintendo's first foray into mature territory on the GameCube. Though it started its life on the N64, but that doesn't matter. It's cool. First, we're going to look at the sequel to one of the most notorious games ever. It's Soldier of Fortune 2 Double Helix. This game is prettier and more polished than it was the first time round, but it still has all the content that made it notorious.
Soldier of Fortune, where you get shiny toys, travel around the world, meet new people, and eradicate them in a hail of bullets. Soldier of Fortune 2
follows the fundamentals of the original game. This is a solid shooter through and through. Quite a few improvements have been made. Your weapon choices have more strategy attached. Shotguns are only good at close range, and only a limited number of weapons and ammo can be carried. Furthermore, after choosing your weapons at the beginning of the level, you won't be picking up every armament you didn't select in the first 3 minutes. There is decidedly more challenge in this version. And that becomes an issue in the game. While the AI is thankfully improved, it's a little too good now. This ends up making a number of stealth levels unduly frustrating. Also, they typically lack any sensible evasion techniques, which manages to lessen the sophistication of enemy engagements. Raven's problems with level design are evident again. While no longer claustrophobically linear, their more open design gives you little indication of where to go, causing you to run in circles, second-guessing the designer's intentions. The multiplayer, though, is arguably superior to the single-player. Using both urban and outdoor environments, the contemporary settings lend the matches an urgency that is simply exhilarating. Soldier of Fortune 2 is a solid, not exemplary single-player shooter, and an exceptional multiplayer package. Given the dearth of new shooters, those hungering for action won't be disappointed. We give it a 3 out of 5.
This isn't really happening.
Oh, but it is. The long-awaited Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem has finally arrived on the Nintendo GameCube. The wait was worth it. Developer Silicon Knights has gone to great lengths to keep the game's storyline a surprise, so we won't ruin it by giving much away. Suffice to say that Eternal Darkness is a stunningly well-crafted tale in the tradition of H.P. Lovecraft, featuring ancient evils, blasphemous tomes of forbidden knowledge, and people who unwittingly stumble upon the things humanity was never meant to know. Eternal Darkness falls somewhere between a survival horror title and an adventure game. Staying alive is definitely the primary challenge, but combat is fast and fluid, with highly responsive controls. Targeting specific points on an enemy is important. Lopping off a zombie's head, for instance, means he won't be able to see you to hit you. Battling all these eldritch horrors comes at a price, your character's sanity. Finishing off enemies can help, but crack up enough and the camera angle will tilt crazily. You'll also find that the game likes to play with your mind, too. Eternal Darkness succeeds masterfully by being a great game and a well-crafted tale of horror that retains its human element. After all, we all go a little mad sometimes.
May the rats eat your eyes!
Extended Play gives Eternal Darkness a 5 out of 5.
The darkness comes! It will damn us all!
My name is Brian Reynolds. I'm the president of Big Huge Games, and we're hard at work on Rise of Nations, our new real-time strategy game. And what I play in my spare time is every other real-time strategy game I can get my hands on, from StarCraft to Age of Empires to Battle Realms to Empire Earth. Love them all.
There you are, Bomberman.
With a simple concept and addictive gameplay, the Bomberman series has always remained true to its original premise of cartoonish bombs and mind-bending mazes. In the new Bomberman Generations, the levels are split across 5 different continents, each with its own sub-levels. Bomberman's main goal is to recover 6 crystals in an effort to save his planet, with a little help from his friend.
No thanks needed.
As you battle your way through the game, you'll notice the simple challenges become much more difficult. The camera can be manually rotated, which is quite helpful in beating some of the game's tougher bosses.
I'm the Mistress Beauty Bomber! Bomb G jump!
There's also mini-games, which are a nice break from the standard game's more linear approach. One of the most noticeable additions to the game is the Charabomb characters. To acquire newer and more powerful Charabombs, you must pit them against each other in a 3-round matchup. The colorful cell shading in Bomberman is great. Each world contains an elemental theme, from a desert terrain to the Arctic Sea.
PK Bomber!
But what makes Bomberman great is the multiplayer action. There's 5 battle modes to choose from, ranging from a standard deathmatch to dodging bombs falling from the skies. To new players, Bomberman may lack some of the wow factor normally associated with titles for a next-gen system. However, longtime fans of the series will still enjoy what made previous Bomberman titles a great game to play. Head-scratching puzzles and lots of bombs. Extended Play is Bomberman Generations a 4 out of 5. Run, little man, run. Coming up on Extended Play, that cute little Rayman is back. We have a preview of his latest adventure. And there's more sword-slashing action in Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny.
Is your music collection growing out of control? Check out Home Tech.
Home Tech is presented by GMC. From professional-grade people come professional-grade SUVs.
It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-what, 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 do-what. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-what, 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 do-what.
Thanks for saving the spot, boys.
From professional-grade people to professional-grade SUVs.
If you've got a Sony Mega Changer, which holds hundreds of CDs, take a look at the Slinky hardware interface from Nervous Systems. In combination with their CDJ software, the Slinky makes managing your music collection a breeze. Slinky can hold up to 12 changers or 4,800 CDs. Daisy chain the device and control up to 96 changers. That's over 19,000 CDs. The interface is easy to work with. Create playlists by album, song title, special lyrics, whatever. You can also add album covers to your database or drag and drop custom artwork from the web. Slinky can be configured to be controlled by other computers around the house, but it's fairly difficult. The Slinky is priced at $250. If you own a Sony Mega Changer, it's well worth the money.
This new technology is driving me wild. Oh yeah, baby, I can't stop dreaming of the desktop. I want this new style. Don't tell me it's wrong. It takes a PC to turn me on. I'm hot for the desktop. New desktop.
New computers sure look good.
What computers?
I'm hot for the desktop. Gateway's new desktop.
Welcome back to Extended Play. We're going to take a look at a sequel to one of my favorite games ever, Rayman 3. Now, if you're not familiar with the Rayman series, it's a platformer from the French developer Ubisoft. Now, Rayman 2 is available on the N64, the PS2, and the Dreamcast. But if you can get your hands on a Dreamcast version, that's easily the best one. Anyway, you can tell I'm excited about it. So let's look at Rayman 3, Hoodlum Havoc.
Like catching a frog, it can be hard to follow on perfection. But the best chance to find a platforming experience that can surpass Rayman 2 would be from the joint-free buddy himself in Rayman 3. The game is once again a platformer that focuses on action with fast jumping and combat rather than free-form exploration and puzzle solving. This time around, bad types have derived newfound power from prune juice, and Rayman's buddy Globix has himself developed a taste for the elixir. The beverage is behind an array of nasty enemies called hoodlums that must be dispatched. I know, it doesn't make sense. They're French. The elegant controls will be instantly familiar to anyone that played any version of Rayman 2. Some new additions are power-ups that grant Rayman blue metallic action clamps, and a lawsuit-inviting cap that provides helicopter action. All of these skills, though, are temporary. Most important to a new Rayman game is the design, and it's already clear that the third installment will once again be a visual treat. As before, the art direction establishes a wholly unique world with an odd touch of menace that no one can dismiss as just for kids. As you can see, this can easily get one's fingers twitching. But we're going to have to all wait and see how it comes together when it's released spring 2003. So, you can't get anywhere in ATV Off-Road Fury. Try these cheats. Select the Pro Career mode, then enter Kaching as a name. If you did it right, you'll be brought back to the main menu. Now you have all ATVs unlocked. And if you go back to the Pro Career mode and enter What Exit, you'll have all tracks unlocked. Capcom's follow-up to the acclaimed Onimusha takes us back to the world of Warrior Toads and Wicked Tongues. Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny takes place 13 years after the original adventure. The game begins as the main character, Yagyu Jubei, returns to his village to find it's been brutally attacked. This was the work of the evil Nobunaga Ota, the wicked warlord from the first game. Yagyu's adventure will take him on a trek that promises a plot more involved and complex than the first game. Resident Evil-style pre-rendered backgrounds are still alive and well in this version, but are much more detailed. Full animation makes the environments and characters very compelling. While the gameplay is very much the same as the original, 4 non-player characters are integrated into this game. There's a skilled rifleman, portly monk, agile ninja, and mostly clothed love interest. Based on how you interact with them, the NPCs will join you for some of your battles, lending the game a bit of an RPG element. After playing it at E3, we got the sense that Onimusha 2 will deliver the action-packed gameplay of the original with graphical updates that only improve the experience. Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny will hit store shelves in the US in September. Coming up on Extended Play, get ready for a Fragfest. We have a preview of Unreal Tournament 2003. And why can't the dead just stay that way? We'll show you how to get rid of those pesky brain eaters in Resident Evil.
1, 2, 3. All right. Na 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 na. Come on, y'all.
Pontiac has a new vibe, starting at $16,900. Pontiac's in overdrive. See your dealer today.
Shut it down. Can't shut it down. Override it. Not responding.
Vicky, もう寝る時間よ。
Hi.
How secure is your business? EDS. Security solved.
Geico has great service. Geico has great service.
Our claim representatives, that's right.
Are available 24 hours a day.
You have a very commercial look.
Next, please.
Well, hello.
Oh, great. A talking gecko.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Pets. They're part of your family. But pet care, especially pet medication, costs a lot. Until now. Save up to 50% and more at Pet Care RX on medications, including prescriptions and all your pet's other health needs. Pet Care RX carries all heartworm medicines, all flea and tick medicines, and all chronic illness medicines, all delivered direct and all at savings up to 50%, even more on some medications. Have your credit card ready and go to petcarerx.com or call 1-800-369-5417 and see what you can save. Order now and get the exact same medicines, the same brands you're currently using, for up to 50% less. Visit petcarerx.com or call 1-800-369-5417. PetCareRx. Brands you count on, savings that count.
Fighting a forest fire takes everything from computers to sheer guts.
It sounds like a jet or a freight train coming through the woods.
See amazing ways firefighters are battling blazes now.
This system was originally developed for the space agency.
Check out the tech of a wildfire, coming up next.
Hi, I'm Todd from Lapeer, Michigan, and you're watching Tech TV.
It's about time. Coming up on next week's Extended Play, we review the epic fantasy The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind for the PC. We have a preview of the sequel to Super Metroid, Metroid Prime. And slash our way through feudal Japan in Way of the Samurai.
Welcome back to Extended Play. Back in 1999, there was a big event for PC gamers. 2 online first-person shooters were released within days of each other. It was Unreal Tournament and Quake 3. And the big debate was, which was better? It was pretty much split down the middle, though yours truly did prefer Unreal Tournament for its incredible level design. Now it's gone in the direction of single-player with Doom 3, but the boys at Epic are holding to their very big guns with Unreal Tournament 2003.
For all you UT fans with an itchy trigger finger, relief is on the way. Digital Extremes, the tutelage of Epic Games, has plans to scratch that pesky itch with the release of Unreal Tournament 2003. As you'd expect from the Unreal people, lots of new technologies are being utilized in Unreal Tournament 2003. For instance, the development team has incorporated bump mapping as a way to increase level detail while still keeping a low poly count. Of course, the technology that's creating the most buzz is the Karma Physics system, and the best thing about it is the Ragdoll system. Instead of cookie-cutter killings, each enemy will have his or her own particular death bounce. Physics. UT 2003 will ship with 30 total maps, and you can expect around 11 weapons in the game. Most of them are either new or highly modified versions of old weapons. In addition to Deathmatch and Capture the Flag modes, you'll also find a revamped Domination mode and the oh-so-sporty Bombing Run. In the Bombing Run, a bomb is placed in between 2 bases, and each team tries to grab the bomb and put it in the enemy base. Hot potato indeed. Unreal Tournament 2003 is shaping up to be a high-caliber first-person shooter, and one that will most likely inspire imitation. Watch for it in the 3rd quarter of this year.
As we mentioned, Digital Extremes is developing Unreal Tournament 2003 with Epic Games overseeing the process. It's the same for Unreal 2. Legend Entertainment, who did the Return to Not Poly add-on pack, is making the game with Epic nodding in approval. And speaking of nodding in approval, we like the Resident Evil remake for the GameCube, though some people, especially those who are new to the series, might have discovered the evil difficulty lurking within the game. So here are a few tips and a secret to keep most of your blood on the inside. And heads up, this gets a little gruesome.
Something about that mansion still bothers me.
Yes, there is definitely something wrong, Mr. Barry Burton. It's not in every mansion you have to put up with unruly zombies, mutated sharks, giant snakes, killer bees, and man-eating plants. Heck, even the boulders don't like humans much. This house of horrors, more commonly known as Resident Evil, has been visited by many a gamer. And for those of you who've been having trouble staying alive, here are a couple helpful tips to make your stay that much more enjoyable. First of all, never underestimate the power of the run button. While it's easy to get distracted by the graphics of this GameCube remake, you'd be surprised by how much ammo and health items you can save if you just avoid, say, half your enemies. Second, in this Resident Evil, zombies don't die from gunshots to the chest. In fact, if you don't take extra measures, a fallen zombie will return meaner and faster. To remedy this, simply burn them with incendiary grenade shots or take off their head completely. But if all else fails, here's a foolproof glitch to give you the upper hand
by way of a 240-round grenade launcher. First, find the item box and dump your whole inventory into it. Now, place the grenade launcher in the upper left item slot and your incendiary rounds in the upper right item slot. Then equip the grenade launcher. Go back to the item box, highlight the incendiary rounds in your inventory, and press A twice. Now go over to the incendiary rounds, which should be in the item box, and press A twice. Congratulations, you've just become a killing machine. So remember, make it a habit to run often. Killing a zombie takes more than just a bullet or two. And if you're really having trouble, max out your ammo.
A Rico!
And last but not least, don't open that door. No, seriously, there are zombie dogs outside.
You may notice that some objects in Resident Evil are shiny. That way you know to pick them up. But that's not true for all of the objects in the game. So if you get stuck, walk around the perimeter of a room pressing the A button. That way you can see if you've missed something. If you want to review those tips again, come by our website at extendedplay.com. And while you're there, post some of your own advice to our message boards. It can be about Resident Evil or any other game. And make sure you sign up for our newsletter, The Expansion Pack. Well, that's it for our show for this week. We'd like to give a great big thanks to Metreon for hosting us today. And until next time, game over.
I'm gonna make it happen. Something, something rhymes with I. Shame, shame, shame.
I don't know, yeah.
Coming up on Extended Play, we visit with Zulu Entertainment to check out the future of gaming. We gather our warlords for a review of Kessen 2. And we help you save the world from the evil Nostra Corporation with our strategy guide for Spy Hunter. Stick around, it's game time.
Hello and welcome to Extended Play from Metreon in San Francisco. I'm Adam Sessler.
And I'm Kate Patello. Games like EverQuest have introduced us to the concept of a persistent virtual world, which is basically like a universe in cyberspace that goes on perpetually in real time. The problem is that most of the denizens of these worlds are always just trying to achieve the same goal.
Now, what if you're able to go into that world and divert yourself and just have a little fun? And what if you could access that world from both your living room and a nightclub? Well, a company named Zulu is working on this very thing, and this concept is very much in motion. See it for yourself.
There have been many attempts at creating virtual worlds online, but unlike the current crop of massively multiplayer games, the folks at Zulu are ready to take it to the next level, as my tour guide, Jim, escorted me aboard the Adriana, a luxury space cruiser orbiting an alien world.
Well, Jim, thank you very much for transporting us here today. Let's just begin. What were the origins of Zulu Entertainment?
Well, a group of us were sitting around one day and trying to decide what the most interesting and fun part of computing could be in the future. And because we're simulation experts, we said, you know, if you could really run a true simulation of reality, which is physics and mechanics, it would really add a big dimension. The reward, if you do that right, is you get a level of reality, a level of immersion that's just way beyond what computer gaming has been able to do in the past.
So what is the ultimate vision for the Zulu universe?
We want a large, consistent universe, or at least a solar system, which feels like a real place. And in this world, there's not just one little thread of gameplay. There are multiple threads of gameplay, just like it is in the real world. For example, some person might be a car fanatic, and so we've got some ground-based vehicles in this alien place, which would appeal to them.
Now, how will people be playing it? Now, we have the idea that there's going to be, let's just start with sort of the public places, these bars, nightclubs that we're looking at.
So there are really a couple of distinct ways that they'll interact. The most obvious way, and actually the most fun way, will be come to a physical site, which we call a Zulu Showcase site. Get into vehicles which have really high quality controls and full motion, surround visuals, surround music, but you can also come in from home. In fact, you can come into the same universe from home and then mixed with the folks who are in this physical site, the showcase site.
Well, obviously, this sounds terribly compelling, and there is some stuff that are prototypes here, so let's go check them out.
Let's go look at it.
The first thing I wanted to try was Condor, a gliding sim that has players collecting crystals and shooting them into giant baskets. The simulation pods themselves sported realistic force feedback controls, and best of all, the pods actually moved in 6 degrees of freedom.
Okay, Adam.
All right.
We are launched.
Now, you are controlling the craft, and I am doing to collect the crystals here.
You are the guy who's going to pick these babies up if I can fly good enough. Let's see, if I dive too fast, I'll bump into another guy, but let's take Oh, we did.
Now, how expansive is all of this land? If you're actually in actual, how many virtual miles is this area?
You can actually go clear around the planet here. So it's thousands of miles. The terrain is built right ahead of us using a mathematics of fractals. That looks good.
Nice.
Let her go with the left hand. Perfect shot. We scored. We scored. Not bad.
While Condor seemed a little tame for my taste, I had another thing coming when they fired up a game of Dominion, which could be described as capture the flag and high-speed doom buggies.
Now, you are in the driver's seat, and you're going to be controlling the car, and I'm sitting next to you, and I'm actually manning the cannon here. We also have this map here that, the rear view there.
That's fun, because you can see what you're up to. Uh-oh, hey, we got incoming, baby. Tell you what, let's run for the flag.
All right.
Hey, the flag is there, although mortar's coming in.
There we go. We found the flag.
Yeah, now we'll see if
we're going to make that run for home.
We get tumbleweed. Get a beat on him. Close enough. Oh!
And
must have been somebody else behind us. Now we're on the edge.
Yeah.
Falling over the side.
And so, after getting thoroughly spanked in Dominion, I left with the feeling that once this all comes together, the Zulu universe just might be a nice home away from home.
While Dominion is quite a bit of fun to play, let me just say that if Quake makes you feel a little funny in the tummy, you have no idea what it feels like to be playing that game. And now, the game news.
A boon for the Xbox has brought dismay to Dreamcast owners. Confirming growing suspicions, Sega of America has announced that Shenmue 2 will only be released for the Xbox in North America. The game, once thought to be the last great title for the discontinued system, has already been released for the Dreamcast in Japan. The expected release date for the Xbox Shenmue 2 is currently fall 2002. In cross-platform Sega news, Phantasy Star Online is headed to the Xbox. In addition, the online role-playing game will also become available for the PC, while plans for the GameCube version seem to be moving along just fine. Coming up on Extended Play, we make a pact with a little devil named Stan in Okaji, Shadow King, and take a trip to the world of medieval Chinese warfare in Tekken 2.
Welcome back to Extended Play.
There are lots of classic buddy pairings for games and stories. A boy and his dog, a boy and a girl, and in this case, a boy and a Shadow King. In Japan, this game was released as The Devil and I.
Or my favorite translation, Me and Satan King. Okage Shadow King is the story of a boy who makes a deal with the devil to save his sister. And in this case, the devil isn't a particularly bad guy. In fact, he's not even scary.
Okaji Shadow King is a role-playing game that tries so hard to be inventive, it forgets to be a good RPG. You play Ari, a boy who's made a pact with Stan, the evil king. Why deal with the devil? Ari's sister Annie was left cursed by a random ghost attack. Stan promises to save her if Ari helps him take over the world. Okaji plays like a traditional RPG, and with any traditional RPG, you have a large supply of non-player characters to talk to and borrow from. As you take Ari around, he runs at a smooth rate. However, things slow down during load times, which can be unbearable for the impatient. Other than town and countryside exploration, you'll have to deal with the game's overly simplistic dungeons, which involve the task of defeating urns. Yes, you fight large jars. Unfortunately, this element of the game gets old really fast. Okage is loaded with lots of side quests, which become a major point of frustration. Firstly, the rewards in the side quests make little impact on your game's success. Secondly, certain items needed to fulfill quests are difficult to find. Xenoworks had a good thing going with the premise of Okage, plus some one-of-a-kind character designs, but there aren't enough redeeming factors to save it. We give Okage Shadow King a 2 out of 5.
While far from perfect, Okage's humorous and unique approach to the rather stale RPG genre is a welcome change. Hopefully, other game developers will take notice. The original Kessen was a PS2 launch title, and this medieval Japanese strategy game was found to be quite difficult and sometimes boring by many gamers. Kessen 2 brings in many fantasy elements and tries to simplify the gameplay, but it's something been lost in the process.
Kessen 2 marks Koei's return to the ancient mythology behind their Romance of the Three Kingdoms title. Okay, first the plot. Liu Bei allies with Cao Cao to bring down the Han dynasty. But these two soon find themselves at odds when Cao Cao turns towards evil to accomplish his ends. He then captures Liu Bei's love and imprisons her, setting this great battle into motion. Now, once you get past the lovely and slightly lengthy intro, it's finally time for the gameplay. There are 30 campaigns to fight, and you must select battle units and move them into position using an overhead map. Units move slowly, which is realistic, but a tad on the dull side. When fights break out, you can watch like a bystander, or you can move in close and possess an individual commander. That's where the action begins, letting you fight and maneuver at will. The controls are a bit sluggish, however, and the gameplay mainly consists of mashing the attack button.
And there will not be a single night's peace until we have won the war!
Although the dub translation is pretty bad, the music is quite beautiful, orchestral, with an interesting mix of Western classical motifs and eerie Chinese composition. All the units are well rendered, colorful, and the animations pop off the screen. Things look great, as good as any animated film, but that visual impact comes at a gameplay cost. We give it a 3 out of 5.
Kessen and Kessen 2 are entirely different titles, so if you have a favorite, drop us a line and let us know.
Coming up on Extended Play, we battle with witch doctors to win the favors of a volcano goddess in Ooga Booga. And we have a ball monkeying around with, yeah, you guessed it, Super Monkey Ball for the GameCube.
In-depth reports from the front lines of high-tech crime. Cybercrime, Tuesday at 9, 8 Central on Tech TV's Tech Prime.
Welcome back to Extended Play.
The Dreamcast was the first next-gen console, and what really made it revolutionary at the time was its ability to go online with its built-in modem.
We've seen that used to good effect in puzzle games, RPGs, and action titles. And now it's being used for an action puzzle strategy hybrid with a funny name. Here's Ooga Booga.
Ooga Booga.
Ooga.
Booga.
Booga Ooga.
Like the overcaffeinated and downright loony love child of the Super Smash Bros. And the Bomberman series, Ooga Booga focuses squarely on the mayhem in your multiplayer. In the game, you play a character who competes against up to 3 other Polynesian-ish protagonists to be the one who bashes, bonks, and blows up everyone else the most. The game includes 3 basic modes: the free-for-all deathmatch, Smack-a-Huna; Rodeo, where you gain points by charging into other players on the back of a boar; and Boar Polo, where you and another player ride boars attempting to knock a volcanic rock into a goal. The game controls easily, though boars can present anguish. Graphically, it's slight, but sufficiently cartoonish to keep things screwy.
Ah, yes.
Sound is a winner, with giggle-worthy one-liners and some great taunts.
You can't handle the fat man!
The single-player game is primarily for training and unlocking items and characters. Here you learn modes and new spells, but it can get trying after a while. Multiplayer is where it works. Handling up to 4 players, the pace and random acts of nuttiness lend themselves to smack-talking with buddies in front of the TV.
Shiver me timbers.
Online slows the pace down considerably with severe internet connection problems. It also just seems oddly quiet, without someone to make fun of to their face. It may be light on strategy and depth, but Ooga Booga is decidedly fun, with frenetic zaniness on the level of Power Stone. We give it a 4 out of 5.
Battling with witch doctors using shrunken heads as weapons is yet again indicative of Sega's creative and oddball game-making skills. Following in that same tradition is Sega's Super Monkey Ball, placing monkeys in balls on floating platforms. It was one of the 3 launch titles for the Japanese GameCube and will be available in America for launch as well. Here's a sneak peek.
Let me guess, you've been dying for a game to let you run around as a monkey trapped in a giant ball, right? Well, my friends, your day is about to arrive. Super Monkey Ball for the GameCube is rolling this way. Your monkey in a bubble adventure starts as you get a feel for the complex controls, the analog stick. Yep, there's just one control to motivate your monkey through the course, grabbing bananas as you go. The game will come with quite a few play modes. In the main mode, you navigate your simian friend through tilting mazes that look like miniature golf courses gone crazy. You can also select from a number of really cool multiplayer games. Monkey Race is a lot like Mario Kart, except you're racing monkeys in balls. Next, you and your friends can move on to Monkey Fight, a mode that gives your monkeys big boxing gloves to knock each other out of the food chain. There's also Monkey Target, that has your monkey fling open his ball in order to take flight. He'll hang glide towards floating targets, and it's not as easy as it looks. The replay value of this game should keep you coming back again and again. Super Monkey Ball will be launching with the GameCube in November. Coming up on Extended Play, Kate helps us capture the flag with an Unreal tutorial. And we help you complete your not-so-impossible missions in Spy Hunter.
All this week on Tech Live, all eyes are on Windows XP. It's making big promises, but will it deliver? Tech Live puts XP to the test. Is it faster? Is it easier? Is it worth the upgrade? Tech Live shows if Windows XP is right for you. Then, stay with Tech Live all week for continuous updates and live reports from the official release and keynote speech. Windows XP on Tech Live. All this week starting at 9 a.m. 6 Pacific, only on Tech TV.
Welcome back to Extended Play from Metreon in San Francisco.
Recently, we gave you some map-making tips using the Unreal Editor, and now we'd like to move on to what we call team stuff.
Now, there's a lot to pick up here, so you better set those VCRs or pay close attention. You ready?
I am.
Let's hit it. Hello, and welcome to Kate Simplifies Complicated Multiplayer Map Stuff. Part 2, Team Stuff. Got your number 2s ready? Let's begin. Previously, we discussed how to make a simple deathmatch level by subtracting rooms with a cube brush, adding lights, and player starts. But ask any hardcore peeps and you'll find it's all about the team games. And there's a few more things we're going to need to discuss in order to pull off a good capture the flag map. So again, we're using Unreal Tournament's excellent map-making utility, Unreal Ed. I've already subtracted a few rooms and added my lights and decorations. Now it's time to add the team starts. What we want to do is open up the Actor Class browser, and under Navigation Points, we're going to highlight Player Start. Back in our 3D view, we'll right-click on our floors and add a few player starts to each end of the level. Now herein lies the rub. We have to right-click on all the player starts that we imagine for one team, and then highlight Player Start properties. Now under the category of Player Start, we have to make sure the team number is listed as a 0. And of course, we'll do the same for the other end of the level, but this time we'll assign a team number value of 1 for each of the player starts. This way, each team starts in their own base. Now it's time to add flags. Again, we're going to select the Actor Class browser, and under Navigation Point, we're going to highlight Flag Base. Back in our 3D view, we'll then pick up a spot in both bases where we'd like to place the flags and simply right-click on the floor and choose the option, Add Flag Base here. Then we'll have to right-click on our actual flag and like assigning teams. Select the flag-based properties and change the value to reflect the appropriate team. Numbers which will be a 0 or a 1. Then when we save our map after we've done a build, we need to add the prefix CTF- to whatever your map name is so that your map comes up in Unreal Tournament as a Capture the Flag level. And now you're good to go, except if you plan on using bots or CPU-controlled players, at which point there's a couple more things you need to do. Bots need to know where to stand when they're defending the base. So again, in the Actor Class browser under Navigation Point, you'll see what's called an Ambush Point. Open that up and then highlight Defense Point. Now back in our 3D view, we can right-click on the floor and add the defense points. Neat. The last bit of bot stuff that we need to explain to them is how to get from A to B. We do this by adding what's called path nodes. Under our Build menu, we should select Build Options, and then down at the bottom, choose Create New Path Network. Unreal Ed will actually do the rest of the work for us. So there you have it, a shiny new Capture the Flag level, and I look forward to playing one from somebody just like you. Pencils down.
Many of you are probably enjoying Midway's updated version of their classic arcade game, Spy Hunter. And despite what they say, you can teach an old spy new tricks. Good afternoon, fellow gamers. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to successfully complete the PS2's Spy Hunter. This will be no easy task. With the help of your G6155 Interceptor enhanced vehicle, you must locate and defeat the evil Nostra Corporation by completing all 14 levels before their plans for world domination are set in motion. But if you adhere to these classified instructions, you will find yourself with positive results in completing the mission. First, to locate Nostra agents, be on the lookout for the following: the Bullseye, the Mad Bum, the Attack Heli, the Water Blade, and the Road Lord. Unfortunately, Nostra agents can be found throughout the world, sporting various vehicles and disguises. To help you identify these agents, we have equipped your vehicle with a high-tech scanning device. Where you see the red is where you want to shoot. In order to destroy Nostra vehicles, your interceptor is equipped with an arsenal of offensive weapons, including stock machine guns and sensor-guided missiles. To activate your missiles, hit the L3 button. Remember to fire early. This will give the missile time to arc and gain altitude, thus saving some civilian casualties.
Objective failed.
Your scanner will also help you identify other dangers, such as bombs. It will be indicated with a yellow circle. In order to deactivate them, we have equipped your vehicle with EMP, electromagnetic pulse blasts. Now, if you think you are being followed, hold on. If you think you are being followed, activate the rear view mirror by pressing triangle. If you want to get rid of enemies from behind, we recommend the oil slick, smoke screen, and my favorite, the flamethrower. Most missions will require you to find and activate IES tracking units called SATCOMs. These global tracking units allow us to monitor your activity and replenish your supplies via the weapons van. Many times, these SATCOMs will be in hidden pathways or in the hulls of boats. For example, in Mission 5, the Riviera, there is a hidden pathway on the left after the white path behind some bushes. There's also a SATCOM hidden in the village in this house. Good luck, gamers. This strategy guide will self-destruct in 5 seconds. If you've already mastered the art of hunting spies, remember we have strategy guides at poppin' down at extendedplay.com.
And don't forget to tune in next week for our special horror edition from the Scream Factory at Great America. We're scared already.
Oh, yeah, I am.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I'm quite scared. Yeah. Well, that's it for our show this week. So until next time, game over. Hello and welcome to Extended Play from... I don't know where it was.
Hey there,
Hey, guys.
Give me a hug.
Suck it up, man.
Are these space candies? Coming up on Extended Play, we take a walk down memory lane at the Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas, and we slow down to hit the gritty streets of Manhattan in our review of Max Payne, and we see what happens when old games get a makeover. Stick around, it's game time.
Hello and welcome to Extended Play from the Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Kate Patello.
And I'm Adam Sessler. Now, this is one of your best opportunities to catch up on some very old and rare video games. And just looking around, it reminds you that it wasn't all that long ago that controlling a cursor and a stick in a game of Pong was the height of gaming cool.
Oh, yeah, now obviously we've come a long way since then, but you know, no matter how much you soup up the graphics and the sound, it's all about one thing: fun. In Las Vegas, classic gaming traditionally looks like this. But here at the Classic Gaming Expo, it looks more like this. Every year, hundreds of enthusiasts get together to immerse themselves in rather non-immersive games. While grooving to the beat of a saran wrap-clad band called 8-Bit Weapon, fans perused some of their favorite old games.
My favorite classic game is Mach 3.
Joust. Reactor. Space Ace.
Miss Pac-Man.
Some came to compete.
I have the world record for Gorp at 653,000 points, but I have flipped a million on it, and I'm going to try to replicate that today.
It's a very competitive environment, which is one of the benchmarks of old classic gaming. It's high score based, so it's highly competitive, and people are constantly trying to improve their skills. The holy grail of grails in video game playing, and just classic gaming, is getting the first million points on Ms. Pac-Man. And when someone starts getting close to one of these incredible benchmarks, the rest of the entire hobby does pay attention and are indeed impressed.
While the arcades were full, a museum area displayed consoles from another lifetime. There were Ataris, Intellivisions, ColecoVisions, and even an Odyssey, the first ever video game console. We heard lots of reasons why these fans prefer the old school.
The games today are just really fast-paced, and you have to sometimes take you a month just to read the manual, and it's sometimes just too complicated.
I like the older games better because most of them are less violent than the newer games. To me, a lot more fun.
Once you get those big dots, you get to try to get the bad guys.
It seems like the big movie productions now, they're not actual games anymore. There's just no gameplay anymore.
Vendors lined the hall, hawking everything from old games to, well, old stuff. And people were buying.
We grew up with these video games. We used to put quarters in them. We didn't have PlayStation. We didn't have Sega and all the rest of those. So now we put them in our houses beside the pool table, and we've got friends over and having a get-together, and we all play pool and video games at the same time.
They want to get a part of their teenage years back, so they buy a game from us.
Whether buying, trading, or playing, classic gamers spent this weekend living in the past and loving it.
It's all part of a big phenomenon that is really indicative of this new growing hobby that's going to be as big as baseball card collecting or stamp collecting or who knows what.
Now, while you can earn points in Dragon's Lair, it's really one of the first games that you play less to brag about how well you did to your friends and to actually see what was going to happen next. And eventually, we're going to re-experience it in 3D. Now, some game news. Times have changed for God Games, the venerable publisher of Railroad Tycoon 2 and the recent hit Max Payne. The company will relocate to the parent publisher Take-Two Interactive's New York office. CEO Mike Wilson and the majority of his staff will remain in Dallas and work on a new project, Substance TV, a DVD-based video magazine. Coming up on Extended Play, the long-awaited Max Payne has finally hit the pavement. Is this noir title all it's cracked up to be? And we exterminate some creepy crawlies in the appropriately named Extermination.
That didn't sound too good.
Welcome back to Extended Play at the Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas.
You know, this isn't all just games. The musician behind us, Seth, based his entire setup on a Commodore 64 and a music cartridge.
And I can barely calculate numbers on that thing. The Max Payne has been in development for years, and during that time, all we really knew about the game was that it was going to change action gaming forever. Well, that naturally makes us quite skeptical. We were wrong.
Max Payne involves a lot of shooting, and even more shooting in slow motion.
No, don't shoot.
In Max Payne, you play Max Payne, one hard-boiled detective bent on doling out some extra-legal revenge. The game is a third-person shooter in the most pure sense. Key hunting is minimal.
There was a key on the table.
To make room for the blazing guns. The crux of the game is the bullet time feature that slows down action but allows for real-time aiming. This Matrix-style element may look like a gimmick, but becomes necessary to master to succeed in the game. Also, it looks really cool. The graphics are a standout as well, making New York City look gritty, cold, and menacing. In addition, one doesn't need the highest-end system to make it run smoothly. The biggest problem in the game is the story.
Exhibit number 1, a newspaper.
The over-the-top hard-boiled writing may be parodic.
Less chance of innocent bystanders getting caught in the crossfire.
But then again, it may not.
A locked door barred my way. I needed a key.
The game is also very short, but extra difficulty settings entice you back into a world that is the first truly interactive action movie. Bear in mind, though, the extreme violence doesn't make this for everyone. Extended Play gives Max Payne a 5 out of 5.
Green? No, not the green.
Man, one of the best things about this expo is you can buy all kinds of old games you'd never find anywhere else. That's why so many people come here. Check this out. Burger Time. I used to play this in the arcade. Cool. Now, our next game is describing itself as the first in a new genre called Panic Action. I don't know, is it something new or is it just the same old survival horror? Well, watch our review and decide for yourself. Here's Extermination.
You sure this is the right way? Trust me!
The end of summer sees the release of Extermination, Sony's first attempt at publishing a survival horror title. You play Dennis Riley, a U.S. Marine who has been sent to the South Pole to investigate a top-secret military base that has ceased communication for several days.
I had no choice.
What awaits him is a welcoming party of the meanest type, an army of mutant freaks ripped directly out of the pages of Resident Evil and Silent Hill. On the surface, Extermination might look like an innovative survival horror title that uses real-time backgrounds, but a closer inspection reveals that this game presents nothing new and even falls for the same problems that similar titles have had in the past. This includes highly sensitive control issues and the survival horror favorite, dodgy camera problems. Graphically, you get a mixed bag. While Dennis and his foes are well modeled, it's hard to get grossed out by the poorly designed polygonal corpses that litter the game. Moreover, the environments, though detailed, contribute to the game's many glitches. The same goes for the sound. The music is unimpressive and the voice acting is hardly remarkable.
That didn't sound too good.
Because of its inconsistent presentation, low replay value, and mediocre story, Extended Play gives Extermination a 2 out of 5.
So if you're disappointed by Extermination, bear this in mind. It won't be too long before you'll be playing Devil May Cry. Now, if you still have your NES and you're still trying to fight your way through some Konami games, you might appreciate this code. It's not just a code, it's the code.
Still trying to figure out a way to finish Contra on the NES, but keep dying over and over and over again? Maybe you've forgotten the now legendary Konami code. So for the last time, here it is. On the title screen, press up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, and start. You'll start the game with 30 lives instead of the measly 3. Coming up on Extended Play, Pac-Man's got a brand new bag. We take a look at the latest updates of classic games. And we spill some green alien blood in our preview of Aliens vs. Predator 2.
Welcome back to Extended Play at the Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas. Check this out, Astro Smash on the Intellivision.
Yeah, there's very little that gets more classic than the Intellivision, but what still makes this fun, along with other standards like Pac-Man and Frogger, is they still have the essential element, fun, addictive gameplay.
Now, a lot of these classic games are being updated, and they're selling really well. But the question is, are these modern makeovers an improvement, or just gilding the lily?
Classic games. Who can forget the endless hours in that dank arcade or greasy pizza parlor with these technological marvels? Many developers have tried to bring these games into modern times with limited success. Okay, so who hasn't played Asteroids? Endless hours of entertainment with simple graphics and basic blast the rocks, avoid the rocks gameplay. The game was faithfully and effectively updated in Asteroids for the PlayStation. Sometimes it's best not to tweak brilliant gameplay too much, just to make it look prettier. Centipede hasn't seen its license used quite so well. An update of this classic appeared on the Dreamcast, but didn't stay totally faithful to the original. This 3D gameplay world lacked the addictive quality of the old-fashioned top-down approach. Pac-Man was the ultimate maze-going, ghost-dodging, pellet-chomping dude of the 80s. There have been a few attempts to bring this rotund yellow guy into the next generation, but none have met with much acclaim. Maybe people just don't like seeing Pac-Man jump. Many games are inspired by classics or just use the recognizable name. Battlezone was one of the best strategy games of 1998 and bore almost no resemblance to the Atari original besides being set in a tank. Sometimes good things come from using a game license. Other times, classic gameplay itself can inspire great modern games. Yep, it's time to talk Pong. This graphical marvel is the granddaddy of mass-market games, and its influence can be seen today. Virtua Tennis on the Dreamcast has been aptly called Pong for the new millennium. Yep, we're still just bouncing that little ball back and forth, and it's still addictive. More and more classic games will be updated on next-gen consoles in the coming months. Spy Hunter will be morphed into a 3D driving shooter on the PlayStation 2. Frogger's coming back as a platformer, also on the PS2. I bet he doesn't miss those trucks much. Whether these next-gen games are able to recapture the success of the originals remains to be seen. One thing is certain, however, high-octane graphics will only get you so far. The real classic is great gameplay.
You know, for some people, it's classic games like Tempest here or nothing. Now, for some weird reason, when I was growing up, only the bad kids were into Tempest. Now me, I was into Ms. Pac-Man. So what was your favorite arcade game? Email us and let us know. Now, for those of you flight fans looking to be Top Gun when the Xbox rolls around, here's an early look at Air Force Delta. Air Force Delta Storm is the Xbox sequel to the Dreamcast's Air Force Delta. In Delta Storm, you'll make your way through more than 50 missions flying for an anonymous organization. The plot, however, isn't the focus in Delta Storm. Once you're in the cockpit, it's all about the intense dogfighting. Graphically, Delta Storm looks great. You'll see lots of nice sun effects and some good explosions. You'll fly in lots of different locales. One area features a massive industrial facility tucked into the mountains, while another has you fighting in the sunset high off the coast of the tropics. Konami promises more than 80 fighters like the F-18 Hornet or F-22. The game looks like it will provide Xbox owners with arcade-style dogfighting similar to its Dreamcast predecessor. Look for the game to arrive with the Xbox launch in November.
nice that games that were once intended for the Dreamcast are now finding their way to the Xbox. Now, as you can see, this is Ghosts and Goblins, and as you may have heard, I like it a lot. Another game I liked quite a bit was the very frightening Aliens vs. Predator, but it did have several flaws. Now there's a new team at Fox Interactive working on the sequel, Aliens vs. Predator 2.
Pull out the team. I will buy you as much time as I can.
How will you find the hunters, Chip?
They will find me.
If you enjoyed the trigger twitching of Aliens vs. Predator, you can expect a similar rush from the sequel, Aliens vs. Predator 2. It will be a first-person shooter that lets you play as either one of the icky aliens or as a human marine. Like its predecessor, Aliens vs. Predator 2 will feature 3 different campaigns, depending on who, or more appropriately what, you play as. The alien attacks with its claws and tail, or it can bite enemies in the head. It has a couple of modes of vision, which makes it suited for lurking in the dark. It's extremely fast and can climb pretty much anywhere. The Predator is slower, but heavily armed. Its close-range blade attack is gnarly, its shoulder cannon ensures annihilation, and its spear gun can make Swiss cheese out of enemies. The Predator also gets to slink around in the trees like its movie counterpart. The human marine has the all-important motion sensor as seen in the Alien movies. His combat knife is silly, but his standard issue rifle can rip aliens apart. And if the marine gets a hold of the smart gun, he gains some serious artillery. The sequel lets you save progress at any time, which is a major improvement over the original. Watch for Aliens vs. Predator 2 lurking on store shelves later this year. Coming up on Extended Play, we try not to steer you wrong with the latest game gear. And we show you how to beat bats, alligators, and big rocks in our classic gaming strategy guide.
Welcome back to Extended Play at the Classic Gaming Expo. Remember when steering wheel controllers used to look like this? Well, if you do, you're showing your age. Now, of course, they've come a really long way since their inception, and we took several of the latest out for a test drive. Racing games are a lot more fun when you've got a steering wheel controller. Now, if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy yourself a Lamborghini Diablo, how about just getting yourself the wheel from X Technologies? This is a decent wheel. It's pretty sturdy. It's got suction cups on the bottom, buttons in all the appropriate places, pretty responsive, good grip, a good wheel overall. Now, also from X Technologies is the Ducati Course Racing handlebars. Now, these look really cool and even accelerate in the handle, but we did find that they're a little bit loose on the turning radius. Now, this is the Blue Thunder from Interact. This is a really good wheel overall. Feels good, has a nice grip, the buttons have good action, the pedals are very good, and as an added perk, it comes with a clamp that'll either go on the edge of your coffee table or let you sit back on the couch and put it in your lap, because you know that's where you're doing the bulk of your racing gaming from anyway. So, you ready? Got a steering wheel? Got your game? Floor it! While steering wheel controllers are cool, remember that most games are designed to be used with the standard controller. So bear in mind that if you're going to avoid problems with gameplay, you'll want to adjust the sensitivity on the wheel to match your own driving style. Now, in honor of our visit to the Classic Gaming Expo, here's a look at an intro that's truly a classic, Ninja Gaiden.
Makes you wonder what an updated version of the Ninja Gaiden intro would look like. And with updated games on the mind, you probably notice your tricks for beating the original game don't work too well with their updated counterparts. So here's a strategy guide if you're experiencing some classic frustration.
Welcome to the bygone days of yesteryear, the games that started it all. Today we bring you strategies from the mother of all game consoles, the Atari 2600. First off, Adventure. You control a nameless square, now nicknamed Hero. Your mission, to save the Gold Kingdom by returning the enchanted chalice that was stolen by the nameless evil magician living in the nameless Black Kingdom. Easier said than done. You have to deal with these three infamous duck-like dragons, Yorgel, Grundle, and the fearsome red dragon, Grindel. For these devils, you'll need to find the arrow-looking sword and slay the evil dragons before they gobble you up. The Black Bat will be another cause of much misery and frustration. This flying rodent loves to steal objects. The best way to deal with this annoyance is to tempt the bat with an object you no longer need, or better yet, lock him up in the White Castle as to keep him out of trouble. It's also very helpful to memorize the mazes. It's very easy to find yourself at a dead end when a dragon is in hot pursuit. Learn them so you can navigate them more quickly when you are in a hurry. The invisible maze is down, right, down, left, left, up, and over. Got it? Good. Next up, Pitfall, a fan favorite swinging onto the scene in 1982. The plot: help Pitfall Harry get all the treasure in the jungle within 20 minutes without succumbing to the 7 deadly obstacles. Fire, rattlesnake, scorpions, opening marsh pit, random holes, rolling logs, alligator. Most of the obstacles are easy to avoid. Just hit that red button on the old Atari joystick and jump or swing over. Where it gets tricky is right here. See the 3 alligator heads sticking out ready to eat you alive? To get across, you have to jump on the alligator eyes. If you move too far over to the left, you will be chomped. Ah, yes, asteroids. Your high-tech spaceship, that's the Triangle, is in a great deal of trouble having ended up right smack in the middle of an asteroid field. Now, the strategy of the game is, who are we kidding? There is no strategy. Just stay in the middle and press the little red button to annihilate the rocks before they hit you. All right, now you're ready to have some good old-fashioned fun. And for those of you who can't remember what closet your old Atari is located in, you can always download these games at AtariAge.com. If you want to see that strategy guide again, you can find it at extendedplay.com. Let's check this out. Kung Fu Master, new for the Atari 2600. Remote and heavily guarded, the temple is a fortress never before defeated.
We'd like to thank the Classic Gaming Expo for hosting us here today and helping make a Kung Fu monster out of Adam here. So that's it for this edition of the show. Until next time,
You must defeat all of
game
these
over.
deadly guardians and more to advance to the next floor. Failure is out of the question. Coming up on Extended Play, we go to the California Extreme Arcade Show to check out the state of arcade gaming. We turn down the lights and turn up the fright for Silent Hill 2. Does it live up to the reputation of the original? And we hit the gridiron for some Madden 2002 tips. Stick around, it's game time.
welcome to Extended Play from Metreon in San Francisco. I'm Kate Patello.
And I'm Adam Sessler. Now, video games have been dominating the home for many, many years, but it's important to remember that once upon a time, it all started in the arcade.
Sadly, though, the arcade seems to have lost a lot of its innovation and excitement. However, there's a group of people out there determined to keep us in touch with our gaming heritage. Arcade.
Back in the 80s, arcades used to be a lot like this. Crowds of players gathered around rows and rows of machines, all different. Well, most arcades now look more like ghost towns than the lifeblood of a burgeoning entertainment industry. What happened? Extended Play paid a visit to the annual California Extreme Classic Arcade Show to get some answers.
One of my old times favourites is a game called Mr. Doe's Castle. And it's one of the games that can rack up nearly 1 million points on.
Missile Command, one of my all-time favorites.
Fast, furious, vertical shoot-em-ups. Something that gets the blood pumping and gets a sweat on the brow.
Asteroids, Defender was lots of fun. I remember dumping quarter after quarter after quarter on that game.
SimStar is a really hard game, but it's really fun to get into.
Run, coward. I'll put in a plug for my all-time favorite game, which is called Mappy. It's a little police mouse running around, jumping on trampolines and picking up items before the cats can steal them.
These guys are seriously old school. So why don't they hang around the arcades anymore?
The home console market and PCs have just killed the whole thing off.
Some of the new games that have come out, they tend to be pretty complicated, and you find that you've blown $15 before you just figure out what the basics of the game are.
The late 80s, early 90s, there was sort of a consolidation of the types of games that people produce. You know, the driving game or the fighting game or the dancing games now. The operators have been getting a really tough deal in having games that they paid a lot of money for come out on home consoles, 3 months later, and they're not recovering the money that they put into it.
But why bother messing around with these antiques to begin with?
Part of it is wanting to preserve history, and it's very, very sad to see that the history of what a lot of what we grew up with be destroyed or be thrown in a landfill.
I think that the nostalgia factor, bringing back those fond memories of racing home after school on our Schwinn bicycles, dropping them in the street in front of the 7-Eleven and popping into play. It's warm, fond memories. People like it.
Okay, so there's renewed interest. But how do you get these old games back into the arcades where people can enjoy them? Friends, meet the Ultracade, a new arcade machine capable of playing any one of almost 100 classic games.
What we've done is collected licenses from all the classic arcade game publishers, and we're bringing some of the games back from as late as the late 70s through the 80s into the early 90s. There's lots of young kids that just flat out weren't born when these games were out, so these are new games to them. And then there, like I said, the parents, the adults, who remember fondly playing these back when they were kids. So it appeals to a real wide range of ages.
So there you have it. The answer to getting families back into the arcades and playing together just might be embracing new titles while saving a place or two for those enduring classics. Donkey Kong, anyone?
If you're interested in getting an arcade cabinet of your own, come by the Extended Play website and we'll provide you with some links. And now back to the current state of gaming with some news. Running contrary to expectations, Sony will not cut the cost of the PS2 in the US this year. After reducing the console's price in Europe and Australia, Sony announced no such similar reduction in North America. This comes after predictions of fewer Xbox launch titles and confirmation of strong PS2 titles to be released in time for the Christmas season. Retailers want more GameCubes. Following expectations that Microsoft won't meet their projected Xbox launch numbers, many stores like Walmart are asking Nintendo to provide more GameCubes. This time, Nintendo just can't make them any faster. Coming up on Extended Play, we take to the ice and try to keep our teeth with NHL 2002. And we hit the slopes with Arctic Thunder. Is it SSX on snowmobiles or just another freezing fly?
Welcome back to Extended Play.
When it comes to sports games, ice hockey has always proven to be one of the most fast-paced, easy-to-play, and satisfying games since the first title hit the NES.
Since then, EA's contributions have topped the list, and this year is no exception.
Few games can be called classics, but NHL 2002 solidifies what is quickly becoming EA Sports' strongest year and is arguably the best console hockey game ever released. The game has considerable depth, tracking player statistics in 18 categories and team statistics in 21. It also allows you to manage various aspects of your team, like trading and drafting players. Like most other EA Sports titles, you can also create your own players and teams and highly customize their statistics and appearance. We'll give this guy a little goatee and big lips. Sometimes it's best just to leave appearances alone. The gameplay itself has been noticeably improved, fine-tuning last year's choppy frame rates and oftentimes easy AI. Passing's been tweaked, allowing greater flexibility in moving the puck up and down the ice. In terms of graphics, this year's edition is top-notch. NHL 2002 uses the same basic engine from last year's version, but the animations have been improved, featuring little in the way of choppiness and jagged edges.
Saved by Hedberg!
The game's sound is a wonderful complement to the on-screen action, and EA Sports once again delivered an authentic-sounding game. The play-by-play and commentary by Jim Hewson and Don Taylor can sometimes even be funny.
He went up high like a blue-collar roofer.
It's hard to imagine a better version of video game hockey than NHL 2002. Once again, EA Sports has built upon their past success, resulting in their strongest release yet.
Stillman scores!
We give it a 5 out of 5.
And remember, the Bare Naked Ladies are available to play in NHL 2002. That's a band. Now, moving from an attempt to recreate an actual winter sport to a game that takes snowmobile racing and places it somewhere in the netherworld between SSX and Wipeout XL. It's Midway's Arctic Thunder. Throughout the history of video games, there have been many titles set in the snow, but very few try anything new. Enter Arctic Thunder.
The race is on.
A combination of Twisted Metal Black and SSX. Vehicle of choice, snowmobile. Born as an arcade game, Arctic Thunder's transition to the PlayStation 2 is smooth and even better than the original. The home version features over a dozen courses, 19 characters, and 4 new modes to choose from, including multiplayer. The courses are a nice mix of realism and whimsy, including everything from a lost Himalayan city to a haunted forest or even Chernobyl. During the race, you can earn points for performing tricks. The game also features power-ups used to combat the other riders, so you can fire snowballs, throw up a shield, or become invisible. Arctic Thunder looks good, even though it isn't quite up to the standards set by most PS2 games of a similar nature. If you're a fan of arcade-style games, Arctic Thunder is definitely worth checking out. We give it a 4 out of 5.
If you don't feel like running out and getting Arctic Thunder for your console, make sure you try it out in the arcade if you can find it, because it is a lot of fun. Speaking of racing experiences that most of us won't have, Insane is a 4x4 off-road racer. Now, if 4x4 makes you feel like you got hit with a 2x4, cheat.
Driving has always been a way to escape our troubles. We have codes for Insane on the PC that makes driving fantastic. At the main menu, first type code. Now you can type the following cheats. I need more maps for all tracks. Bigfoots for fat wheels. Man on the moon to float like a butterfly. And finally, the granddaddy of all codes, big heads for enormous nostrils.
Coming up on Extended Play, it's creepy, spooky, and downright evil. But is Silent Hill 2 a good game? And we talk to Capcom about the latest jewel in their crown, the hotly anticipated Devil May Cry. welcome back to Extended Play.
You know, the onset of fall doesn't just bring dead leaves with it, also brings some of the most desired games of the year.
Now, this next title sits high atop that list. It's pretty, it's scary, and it's here. Silent Hill 2.
Watch your back. It's time to turn the lights off and experience the terror of Silent Hill 2. Meet James. He's visiting town in search of his wife. Trouble is, she's been dead 3 years.
But I got a letter from her. She says she was waiting.
And that's just the start of a tale that chronicles James' struggle with his inner demons and the strange people he encounters along the way. Control is a bit sluggish, but combat is simple after a bit of practice. James can defeat enemies with firearms, or he can beat them into submission with a variety of blunt instruments. No horror title would be complete without puzzles. A riddle difficulty option lets you choose your brain teaser level, and a memo feature catalogs all the clues you come across. The attention to graphical detail is outrageous. Silent Hill's trademark fog keeps things tense, and the grainy overlay that is seen throughout the game is a potently artistic touch. Just as effective as the game's audio, which ranges from eerie radio static to the downright bizarre.
Hey there, everybody! Thanks for tuning in.
Silent Hill 2 is one of the most immersive video game experiences ever. Seldom has sound, vision, and control worked in such perfect harmony. Even with the lights on, you might jump at a few shadows anyway.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? I've never been so scared in my whole life.
Extended Play gives Silent Hill 2 a solid 5 out of 5.
Don't worry, I'm not crazy. At least, I don't think so.
You may wonder if you should play the first Silent Hill all the way through before picking up the sequel. Well, the stories are pretty disconnected, but there are revelations about the first title in the sequel, so it's up to you. Now, space sims like Wing Commander were really popular on the PC, and although their popularity has waned, their quality has not. So here's a look at Independence War 2: Edge of Chaos.
They came, just like they came to every frontier mankind has ever had.
Let's hope Independence War 2: The Edge of Chaos marks a resurgence in space combat sims, because this game is fun. First, let's dispense with the plot. You're a fella with a big chip on his shoulder who takes over his late grandma's secret pirate base in order to gather enough resources and support to launch your own personal vendetta on the evil corporate villain who killed your father 15 years ago. No! Got it? Good. Now, what you have left is an engaging space combat sim that loads on the complexity one would expect in the genre, yet makes the concept of semi-realistic space flight easy to understand and pull off. Credit for this should go to the controls that allow almost all of the game functions to be accessed from a standard flight stick. Another welcome addition is computer-assisted flight. After selecting location to travel to from the map, simply engage autopilot and bam, you're there. This allows you to concentrate on the meat and potatoes of this game, which is namely plundering freight vessels for cargo.
Okay, we give up. Take the cargo.
And taking on missions that will forward the plot. While the story itself is straightforward, much of your time will be spent trying to keep your pirate operation going, adding a nice touch of non-linearity. It's the combination of graphics, elegant controls, and gameplay reminiscent of Privateer that gives Independence Wars 2 a nice, solid 4 out of 5.
In most space sims, it's easy to be overwhelmed by all the technical aspects, like Newtonian physics. But in the case of Independence War 2, it's easy to get into and fun to play. Now, our next game is another hot fall PS2 title. It's Devil May Cry. It comes from Shinji Mikami, who's the man that gave us Resident Evil. But while those games are all about fear, this one has a whole different emphasis.
Let's rock, baby.
The concept of the game is to be cool, and for the player to be as narcissistic as possible while playing it.
Not bad criteria at all, and from the looks of it, Devil May Cry is living up to Shinji Mikami's aspirations. To shed more light on the game and its coolness, we checked in with Capcom themselves.
The best way to describe the game is a gothic thriller. Everyone's well dressed, all the areas are very clean, and a lot of visual detail. I guess the best word is cool.
All right, it's cool. Playing Dante, the half-demon, half-man armed with a big sword and guns, is cool. But it's through his arsenal of moves that he expresses his inner tough guy. Yep, that's cool.
Whoa, slow down, babe.
As you get further along in the game, it will become more of a combo system. He garners new moves as you go through the game. In order to beat the game, you'll have to be good at controlling the character and executing combos.
What clearly sets the game apart from a Resident Evil is you don't move like a tank, and you move fast.
And they had to have the character running at 60 frames per second.
But with all that action packed in with real-time backgrounds and free movement, there's reason to worry that the camera might miss Dante doling out his anti-monster herding.
They've done a lot of studying of film editing and how cameras come into play. So what you'll see is he pulls the camera back at appropriate times. The camera angles shift. They spent a good chunk of the team just focused on how can you make these cameras interact well. This has got to look like a Hollywood film.
Now, we've seen games that make you cool like out of a film before. What sets this apart?
The game makers are rating you as you go through, so if you execute a really good combo, they'll tell you you're cool. If it was boring and you just did a sword swipe or one gunshot, he's gonna call you dull.
So it's like a bloodthirsty version of Dance Dance Revolution.
I would actually not really call it a bloodthirsty version of Dance Dance Revolution. I would call it I'd call it Devil May Cry.
Cool. Coming up on Extended Play, Kate puts down the controller to practice her karate chop with the latest Thrustmaster gear for fighting games. And we help you sack the quarterback with our Madden 2002 strategy guide.
Welcome back to Extended Play.
Now, there's some games, especially fighting games, that make you just want to get up off the couch and into the action yourself.
You get too into it, Tiger, you might get hurt. But now there's a device out there that lets you do the unthinkable in a game. Work up a sweat.
Here we go!
Dance Dance Revolution started a revolution with controllers. Now, a lot of developers are trying to apply that technology to other types of games. So, what else can you do with a Dance Dance pad? This is the Thrustmaster Fighting Arena, or as we at Extended Play like to call it, the Fight pad. Lay them out flat, then attach the poles and adjust them to whatever would be your punching height. Plug it into your PlayStation with any fighting or boxing game, and then
kick, punch, jump, tap, and block.
The sensors work really well and are sensitive enough, and theoretically, if you did this long enough, you could work up quite a sweat. Now the problem is, though, that all the directional buttons are at your feet, and in a fighting game, you need to do combos. So if you're trying to do an uppercut, that's like down, around, sweep, and a punch. That's an awful lot of work. Then there's the obvious drawback, which is that it all looks very cool when in use by a professional kickboxer. The rest of us are almost guaranteed to look like dorks. Okay, all in all, I'd say that the Thrustmaster Fighting Arena works, but you're better off using a standard controller for a fighting game. Save the Dance Dance pads for the dance dancing.
That's it for today.
Well, football season is here, which means football video games are here, which means in many living rooms, someone is winning and someone is agonizing in defeat. That's no fun, so here's some pointers. Madden Football 2002. Some claim its realistic gameplay is so realistic that it mirrors real-life NFL verbatim. Unfortunately, real-life NFL football is pretty complicated. That's why Extended Play headed to the Prep Gridiron and got football tips from some top-rated prep football coaches and players.
All right, my name is Russ Robb. I'm the head football coach at Piedmont High School.
Hey, let's go!
And we're going to give you some tips on how to beat Madden 2002. The key to having success in Madden 2002 is number one, knowing which team to pick. I think I'd have to choose the Oakland Raiders offensive playbook and players. Raiders! Raiders! Just for the fact that they got some solid guys and solid playbook. Offensively, I recommend you kind of switch it up a little bit. They go from shotgun to an eye back to a single back, and the more you can switch it up to see what the defense you're going against, I think the better off you'll be.
My tip is use the pump fake on the post corner routes because the secondary always bites and you get long gains.
After you snap the ball, you wait in the pocket for a second, and then you bring down the ball, right? But you got to wait in the pocket for a second before you scramble, and then you can scramble outside the pocket with the quarterback.
Picking a defense is down and distance, what they need to get and what's their strong suits. So if they're a big running attack, they're going to go with something with more linebackers and to stop the run. If there's somebody like the Rams that can spread you out a little bit more with more passing capabilities, you want to go something more like a 3-4, something like that, where you can play the pass and still stop their draws and some dives and stuff like that. Another one's a 4-4, where now you're committing pretty much everybody. You're going to be blitzing quite a bit and really stopping the run up the middle. So up to the outside, you get the linemen just penetrating and causing havoc.
This is Coach Humphreys. I'm the Frosh coach, and my tip is have just a very few plays, but run them and run them and run them until you can run them right against a lot of different fronts.
And my tip for you today is be the Falcons, run around with Michael Vick, and pass to Alex Crumpler, the tight end. Because the tight end is always open and he'll win you the game. He's my dog, Alex Crumpler. And trade your aging veterans for high draft picks. And whatever you can do, get the high draft picks. And I swear you'll win.
Hopefully the next advancement for sports games will be the ability to download real-time stats of your players during the season.
Now, there may be improvements for other games you want, like, I don't know, Orange Oryx, ballerina shoes, whatever. Drop us a line, let us know.
And that's about it for this week, but next week we're going to have a preview of Shenmue 2 and a review of Sony's buzz-making Ico.
Ico?
We'll know next week.
Yeah, okay.
So until next time,
game over.
When it comes to sports games, ice hockey has always proven to be one of the fastest.
That too. Hi, welcome back. That's me too. Ow, ow, ow. I played on beginner level and got all A's. Wow.
The only thing that scares me is my future.
Coming up on this special GameCube edition of Extended Play, we go to the Cube Club to get the lowdown on Nintendo's new console. We review the GameCube launch titles from Luigi's Mansion to Rogue Leader, and we find out what's in Nintendo's future. Stick around, it's game time! Welcome to Extended Play from the Nintendo Cube Club in San Francisco, California. I'm Kate Patello.
And I'm Adam Sessler. The Cube Club is a chance for anyone to finally get their hands on Nintendo's new console.
Now, a lot of industry executives have gotten to do that already, or you did if you went to E3, but what do all these real gamers think?
Well, let's find out. It doesn't have a hard drive. It doesn't play DVDs. So just what does the GameCube do? It plays games, and it plays them well. So sums up Nintendo's strategy in its ongoing console war. While Sony and Microsoft tout the expanded capabilities of their systems, Nintendo is attempting to shift the focus of this battle back into an arena where they clearly dominate: gameplay.
It's awesome. It's better than what I expected.
I've been in love with Nintendo consoles since I played the Nintendo when I was about 7 years old. So I've been a fan ever since.
The games make me made me want to get one. Without even playing it, it looks good compared to the other systems.
Xbox looks good and all, but it's catering to a whole different market. In GameCube, it's specifically for games, and I think it's going to be better for it.
Graphics are awesome and cheap, and it's Nintendo.
The GameCube itself, with its small, lightweight design and proprietary disc format, appears to reinforce Nintendo's focus on the games. But the tech inside the Cube provides some unique benefits to the player.
one of which is the lack of appreciable load times.
The PS2, I have it, it has problems with the DVD-ROM, the games lag and load times are bad. So far, just from playing these, it doesn't look like there's any load times. Everything loads up right away.
In some ways, the GameCube invasion began this past summer, when the Game Boy Advance started worming its way into U.S. households. Innovative titles like Kirby's Tilt and Tumble 2 show how the two systems will work together.
Start at home on the Nintendo GameCube, download it to the Game Boy Advance, take it with you on the train, on the plane, wherever you're going, bring it back and continue playing. And finally, customizing. You're able to take games and customize features and download it through the Game Boy Advance. This is a 1-2 punch that nobody else can even get close to.
But the true ace up Nintendo's sleeve has always been their seemingly endless stock of original characters waiting in the wings. Over the next year, expect to see as many characters as Nintendo can muster on the GameCube. If there's a weakness here, it's the perception that the GameCube is a system for kids. Much of that comes from the fact that Nintendo likes to focus on games for the entire family.
This is just the kind of mistaken notion people have when they characterize the games we make. Our goal is to create games that are compelling for both children and adults.
However, with games like Eternal Darkness and the Resident Evil titles slated to hit the Cube, Nintendo fans shouldn't be as concerned as they once were. So, with anticipation running high, one question remains. What would you do for a GameCube? Nintendo saw fit to ask just that in an online contest last month, and they brought 5 finalists to the San Francisco Cube Club to see just what they were willing to do. Meet Lizzie, Jeff, Matthew, Jason and Jennifer, and Corey.
Spam, cat food, and chocolate syrup into the size of a GameCube, and I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
I'm going to be juggling Nintendo consoles while dressed up as Mario, as you can see, and whistling the Super Mario theme. It's pretty wacky, so.
I'm gonna paint the GameCube logo on a tapestry with my tongue using various condiments.
I'm dressed, not in full costume, but I'm dressed as Mario, so.
Yeah, Princess Peach.
That's kind of a lame stunt. You must have a trick up his sleeve.
I am going to become the first human Pikmin by shaving my head because Pikmin don't have hair. I'm going to paint my entire body blue to be the blue Pikmin. And then I'm going to eat bugs because this is a game based in a garden and there are lots of bugs roaming around, so I figured I'd eat some, yes.
As the contest wore on, it became clear that Matthew was risking a sprained tongue. Jeff really needed a little more practice. Lizzie bit off more than she could chew. Jason did have something up his sleeve.
Jennifer, will you marry me?
Oh my God. Yes, I will.
And Corey rapidly developed a taste for creepy, crawly things. While all 5 finalists walked away with the GameCube, Corey was awarded the grand prize.
And I know Mr. Miyamoto would be very proud.
Who says good things don't happen to crazy people?
Coming up on Extended Play, get your flashlights and Hoovers handy. We review the spookiness of Luigi's Mansion.
Mario!
And we make a splash with our review of Wave Race Blue Storm.
You're watching Extended Play. Stick around. Kate and Adam have more video games coming right up.
Welcome back to Extended Play. Mario's occasionally overshadowed brother Luigi has finally stepped into the spotlight, or more accurately, the flashlight, as he sneaks around in the shadows hunting ghosts. Now, we've seen a lot of sneak previews of this game, but how does it pan out when you play it all the way through? Here's our review of Luigi's Mansion.
Mario!
Mario?
Mario!
Wherefore art thou, Mario? He's somewhere in Luigi's Mansion. Finally, Luigi steps out of Mario's shadow with a flashlight. And this game has got the goods. You play in a mansion with old furniture and other bad things. If you want to save Mario, you gotta clean out all the ghosts. And you don't do it by jumping on their heads. It's more civilized. You use a flashlight to freeze them and a vacuum to seize them. You also have a Game Boy Horror that allows you to get some clarification on your situation. The AI is clever. Naughty ghosts will pop up behind Luigi when you least expect it. The two joysticks on the GameCube controller allow you to work the game with ease. The main stick controls Luigi, while the little stick controls his perspective. The cartoony graphics are solid. Its lighting and transparency effects are spectacular. The sound is pretty good, too. Hearing Luigi scream for his brother will put a smile on anybody's face.
Mario! Mario!
Luigi's Mansion only takes 10 to 20 hours to complete, but it's a well-conceived game that's worth every second. We give it a 4 out of 5.
The launch of the N64 also had a Mario-esque game. That was Mario 64. Alongside that was Nintendo's Wave Race. That game was remarkable because it really took advantage of the brand new analog stick on the N64 controller. So, in keeping with tradition, we have a new Wave Race game for the launch of the GameCube. It's Wave Race Blue Storm. The physics of racing a jet ski across water are very different than the physics of most racing games. Not only do you have to worry about moving your jet ski back and forth, but you also have to contend with the waves as they hurl you up and down. And that's quite a ride. The Wave Race controls and how they react to the environment are intuitive, yet they take a while to truly master. The courses are littered with obstacles and buoys, and learning how to make sharp turns is essential to steering through the course.
To make a sharp turn, pull back on the control stick while you are turning.
You'll want to learn where your turbo button is, too, for that extra burst of speed. The game features the same tricks that were in the original Wave Race, but throws in some new ones as well. You can race your player of choice in 6 modes, but the championship mode is the soul of the game. It's here that you open new tracks and weather conditions, race opponents, and make your mark on the jet ski world.
It's turbo time.
Blue Storm has 6 environments to race through, and several different weather settings from sunny to stormy.
We have an absolutely gorgeous day for a race.
Each of them looks great, and they alter the course enough to make jet skiing on a perfect sunny day very different than sloshing through a thunderstorm. Even though gamers familiar with the original Wave Race will instantly recognize similarities between the two, there's enough new stuff in Blue Storm to make it worth the purchase. Once you learn the controls, a very satisfying race experience awaits. And so we give Wave Race Blue Storm a 4 out of 5.
You won. Way to go.
Coming up on Extended Play, Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2 is ready to hit the shelves, but does it harness the power of the Force?
Red Leader, we're under attack.
And we dole out the primate goodness in our review of Super Monkey Ball.
Hey, don't leave me out. Bring me in. I want to be a part of this.
Welcome to Tech TV, the ultimate resource for technology news, information, and entertainment. On air, online. Tech TV is the network that provides you with the right tools for the right times. Tech TV, television about technology.
Welcome back to Extended Play. Ever since we saw it at E3, Star Wars Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2 has been one of the standout titles for the GameCube launch. Now, it's based on its predecessor, the N64's Rogue Squadron, but now with more attention being paid to the gameplay mechanics and an obvious leap in graphics, you got a whole new game in front of you.
Orders, Red Leader. Incoming fighters. Here they come.
Let's face it, even the most casual Star Wars fan has dreamed of skimming the surface of the Death Star trench or facing down an Imperial Walker head-on. Dream no more. Thanks to Factor 5 and LucasArts, the greatest space battles of the Star Wars trilogy have been brought to life in ways never before imagined by gamers.
Watch yourself, Lando. TIE fighters at .06. Cover me, Wedge.
More of an arcade action shooter than a space sim, Rogue Leader captures the frenetic dogfights of the films perfectly and adds on to the Star Wars mythos with entirely new missions and worlds. The first thing you'll notice about Rogue Leader is that it is gorgeous. In some ways, surpassing the movies themselves, the game is a showcase of the GameCube's power and Factor 5's ability to capture the Star Wars universe right down to the last foot soldier. Look closely and you'll be able to see the walker's feet and the sand under the water's surface. Subtle details like this abound throughout the game. The sound is perhaps even more impressive than the graphics. Rogue Leader features the best sound design of any console game ever. Gamers with Dolby Pro Logic 2 receivers will get to hear ties buzz past their heads in full 5-channel surround sound. But even in plain stereo, oh, just take a listen.
They're heading for the medical frigate.
Red Leader, we're under attack.
The game's not just a pretty face, of course. Control is silky smooth and takes full advantage of the GameCube's controller setup. Dogfighting ties and bombing raids on gun emplacements will quickly become second nature.
Turn on your targeting computers to identify enemy targets. Pulling up my targeting computer.
A targeting computer lets you quickly identify mission-critical targets, but we know that real Jedi have a more powerful ally.
Use the Force, Luke.
11 missions make up the meat of the game, with several bonus stages available for unlocking. While that may seem short, throw in a making-of documentary, in-level audio commentary by the developers, and hidden power-ups that upgrade your ships.
You've received the Advanced Proton Torpedo Tech upgrade.
And you've got plenty of replay value to keep you coming back for more. Even if you're not a Star Wars fanboy, this is a fantastic and expertly crafted title that will get any space fighter jock's adrenaline pumping. Extended Play gives Rogue Leader a perfect 5 out of 5. Rogue Leader was developed by Factor 5. Now, those are the same folks who brought you Battle for Naboo for the 64, which looked remarkably good given the system's limitations and just offered you a taste of what was to come. Now, our next game is Sega's first offering for the GameCube, Super Monkey Ball, and that takes like the arcade challenge of Marble Madness and adds Sega's own very unique twist.
Those who worship at the altar of irony will take solace in the fact that one of the launch titles for the GameCube stars a monkey encased in a sphere. And in Sega's aptly titled arcade port Super Monkey Ball, we find an enjoyable game with a pick-up-and-play appeal that will entice both gamer and non-gamer alike. The premise is simple. Use the control stick to maneuver your monkey buddy through a series of increasingly difficult courses in order to reach the goal before time runs out. You can also optionally collect bananas generously and constantly provided and identified by the good people at Dole. 100 bananas gives you an extra monkey. Sounds simple, and it is, at first. In the beginner difficulty level, the paths are wide, the slopes mild, and most gamers will scoff at how easy it is. The advanced and expert levels are another matter. Expect to encounter some frustratingly devious courses. On the bright side, with practice, you'll be able to master any challenge. Oh yeah, who's your daddy? Who's your monkey daddy now? Sega could have seen fit to end development right there. With over 90 courses, there's plenty to do. But instead, they added 3 party games and 3 mini games, each for 1 to 4 players. The party games are Monkey Race, which is similar to Mario Kart, complete with wild tracks and power-ups. Monkey Fight, which arms you with a giant boxing glove. Points are scored by knocking rivals off the platform. And Monkey Target, where you can test your hang gliding skill while your monkey gets a breath of fresh air. The 3 mini-games are equally fun variations of pool, bowling, and miniature golf. In order to access them, you need to get points by playing the single-player games, and one evening with a couple of friends will be enough to unlock all 3. The extremely clean graphics, good music, and sound, married to addictively simple gameplay, is enough to warrant a 3 out of 5. But with the extra game modes Sega added to the mix, Super Monkey Ball is an excellent title for anyone remotely interested in games. Extended Play gives it a 4 out of 5. Super Monkey Ball may seem like a modest offering from Sega, but bear in mind, you're going to be seeing Phantasy Star Online in the future, as well as what we once thought impossible, Sonic the Hedgehog in Sonic Adventure 2. Now, while not impossible, cheats for Nintendo games are definitely not typical. But with a brand new system comes some new surprises. So here's your first GameCube cheat.
To do a right barrel roll, go off the jump and push left, then right on the control stick.
Piece of cake.
Now you try it.
Okay, that was lame. If the tutorial isn't much help, use a cheat code. Go to the options screen and press X, Z, and start at the same time. You'll unlock the password menu. Now enter J784WMHF. The Lost Temple Lagoon will be unlocked. Obviously, it's still going to be about skill and not cheats to get anywhere in this game. Ow! Coming up on Extended Play, the GameCube launch will come and go, but what does the future hold for Mario and friends? Welcome back to Extended Play. Many times, people will look to the launch of a console as its defining moment, but it really takes developers a while to get the hang of the system so they can take full advantage of it. As we've mentioned, landmark titles like Mario and Zelda are a ways off, but there's still a lot to look forward to from the GameCube. Nintendo's always known the value of staggering their high-profile releases over the course of the year. And this time around, it's no different. Quality over quantity, folks. That's the name of the game. And here's a quick glance at some of the titles the Cube will be offering over the next few months. One of the most anticipated of the lot is the oddly titled Pikmin, where players take on the role of the space explorer Captain Orima. That's the little guy with the space helmet, who has crash-landed on an alien planet. Your mission? To repair your trusty spacecraft with the help of the forever loyal Pikmin. Those are the tiny plant-like aliens with the flowers coming out of their head. Pikmin is basically a real-time strategy game where you and the Pikmin have 30 days to try to find your ship parts while avoiding having your little friends gobbled up by various poofy monsters. But don't be too distressed. Although the Pikmin look cute and helpless, if you breed enough of them, you can take down even the biggest of the previously mentioned poofy monsters. Also due to be out soon is the ever-popular Super Smash Bros. Melee. Aside from a pretty hearty roster update and, of course, GameCube quality visuals, this sequel is virtually identical to its N64 predecessor, which is understandable. This game has a great premise. Take all of Nintendo's top-notch characters and toss them all into one game where they get to beat each other up. The all-star cast includes Mario, Link, Pikachu, and Donkey Kong with the new GameCube edition of Princess Peach. One of the most eagerly awaited GameCube games for a great many people is the next installment in the legendary Metroid series, Metroid Prime. Not much is known about this game yet, but from the looks of it, you can expect some pretty cool graphics, high-tech weaponry, creepy tunnels, and crawly alien creatures. Ew. Rare is hard at work finishing up Star Fox Adventures Dinosaur Planet for spring 2002. Finally, fans of Fox McCloud will be able to venture out of the confines of his cramped R-Wing and explore a lush planet complete with Dino Buddy. Expect to see typical Rare production values on this one. Also on the list of things to come, Eternal Darkness, which Nintendo describes as a time-crossing psychological thriller with the player battling various shades of evil. Ooh, scary. The game spans hundreds of years, and the characters reflect life in these times. How you act and battle is derivative of when and where you exist as your current character. There's also Cameo, Elements of Power, where you play a beautiful young girl who has the ability to morph into various monsters and beasts. And no console would be complete without the latest edition of sporting titles, including NBA Courtside and Madden NFL 2002. The GameCube version of this fan-favorite football title will include a variety of enhancements over the PS2 one, including improved textures, new stadium technology, and graphical touches such as scuffs on helmets. Outside
not just games. There's even more to look forward to with the GameCube. We don't know exactly when the modem is coming out, but it must be eventually, because Sega's working on Phantasy Star Online.
And we can also look forward to the Game Boy Advance being used in conjunction with the GameCube. We expect to see this link first with the release of Kirby's Tilt and Tumble 2.
Now, with so many games and systems out there and so little time, what are you going to do when it's time to buy one? Don't freak out. We're here to help you with Game Overload next week with our holiday buy-in guide.
Well, that's it for our special GameCube show. So until next time,
Game over. Let's go play some games, man.
All right, that's an excellent idea.
Go GameCube, go GameCube, it's your birthday.
Off my dress.
Off my dress.
Off your dress, Mario.
That's annoying.
They don't really have too much of a taste, but right when you bite in, there's like all these juices that fly out.
My brief stint in motion capture, our interview with gaming god and creator of Mario, Shigeru Miyamoto, and our look at making the music for video games with Busta Rhymes and Snoop Dogg. Stick around, it's game time. Hello and welcome to Extended Play. I'm Adam Sessler. Well, today on the show, we're going to look back on the year that was 2002, which really was a remarkable year for gaming. Now we're going to go through some of our fondest memories, many of which were informative, others were rather surprising, and one was a little bit exhausting and rather embarrassing. It all started as a rather innocuous look at motion capture. We've all seen skin-tight motion capture suits. We know these suits are stylish, but how do they work? To find out, we went to Sony's 989 Studios in San Diego, California. 989 has done capture for years on titles like the NFL Game Day and NBA Shootout Series. Thank you very much for having us out here today, Dwayne. Let's just start. What's your best definition of motion capture?
Motion capture, by definition, is the process of bringing in an actor or an athlete into the studio, suiting them up with a marker suit, having them perform things that they can do well that we want to have in our game as animation, and capturing that performance.
What are some of the earliest examples of working with pro athletes? What was that like?
At first, that was very exciting every time it happened, and now it's almost gotten to the point where it's another job that we need to do and we need to do well. So we kind of look at it that way. It is fun to meet the personalities behind the famous faces, though, sometimes.
Is there a professional athlete who had such a unique style that you really benefited by having him motion captured?
We had Roger Clemens in, and he's the Rocket. He's got, I think, a pretty recognizable delivery, so that was exciting. In the NFL, we had Donovan McNabb that came in this past season and did some quarterbacking animation for us. The subtlety of the motion that you get with the motion capture system that we have and the process that we have in place means that what you see is what you get in the animation.
Well, Dwayne, thank you very much. I've definitely enjoyed myself here today.
Adam, aren't you forgetting a little something?
No, I haven't forgotten anything, no.
Aren't you going to put the mocap suit on, though?
No, I'm not going to put on the suit, no.
We got everything all set up here.
Yeah, but I have to catch a plane and...
Just put on the suit and no one gets hurt. Come on, Adam.
No!
Come on, let's go.
All right. I feel like a sad ninja.
You look like a sad ninja, but let's go.
So where have you taken me?
This is the Sony Motion Capture Studio. This is where all the magic happens. We've got the cameras around to capture your every motion by these guys right back here.
So what is this I'm wearing?
This is the motion capture suit. It's made to be really tight, as you can tell.
I'm noticing.
We have the markers on that represent the joints and the skeleton.
What are the balls themselves made of? They have this kind of luminescent glow to them.
Well, they're reflective tape, And what it does is it has what's called a cat eye reflection. So it takes these lights, and as it comes down, it'll reflect the light right back to the camera. And in the middle, there's a lens that will capture that light, and that's what the cameras will see. So why don't I go over there, and we'll put you through.
Oh, joy. Good.
Put this on.
Oh, great.
And we'll get you all set. Now we want you to do a little jog for us.
Jog. Action.
All right, now we're gonna have you walk like a chicken. All right, let's try something a little more athletic. We'll do some stuff from our sports games. This is what we call the catch. All right, Adam, now why don't you dance for us? We're gonna have to do that one again. We didn't quite get that first one.
And here's your suit back.
So these guys take good care of you?
Yeah, you could say that. So what happens now?
The crew here will check the data, make sure it's all clean, and then we'll hand it off to the game development team to be inserted into the game.
I bet we all can't wait to see that. Coming up on a special edition of Extended Play, we revisit our interview with gaming legend Shigeru Miyamoto.
Showtimes, call your local cable operator.
Welcome back to Extended Play. 2002 has been something of a banner year for Nintendo. With games like Eternal Darkness, Mario Sunshine, and Metroid Prime, it seemed easier for the company to do right than to do wrong. Well, with a none too little title on the horizon called The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, we thought we'd return to our interview with the man behind it all, Shigeru Miyamoto. This unassuming little game is the original Donkey Kong, and how it came to be marked the beginning of a shift in how games are made. Game creator Shigeru Miyamoto spoke with us about the importance of artistry in game design.
I first entered Nintendo 20, almost 30 years ago. And at that time, there really wasn't much in the way of video games. Up until that point, pretty much all of the video games that had been seen had been made by technical people. But at that point, myself as an artist, working with some more technical people at Nintendo, went on to design our first game, which was Donkey Kong.
Say the word Nintendo, and gamers often think of those classic characters from franchises. And though he loves them all, Miyamoto believes that in the end, it's solid, tried and true gameplay that keeps people coming back for more.
A lot of people ask me if I start designing games with a story in mind, or a particular scenario, or a particular character, but actually I start on a much more basic level. Really, when we started with Mario, all we had were just some blocks on screen, and we would try to make those blocks bounce around and jump as we intended them to do using the controller. And so it's really at that very core element that our game design began. So I think that's why it's important for me to watch people playing Mario and see them moving their controller in the air as they're playing the game. That's really what exhibits the true fun of the game.
With a number of hit games under his belt, it's clear that Miyamoto was onto something. But these days, with a consistent demand for his expertise, such success has its pitfalls.
Since I am taking on a much larger role within the company, there are a lot of games that I'm not directly involved in. What I do with those is I really look at the content and check the content and make comments on that. But the one thing that I think is a danger when you have one person who's overseeing all the games is that there's a chance that some of the uniqueness or flavor of those games can be lost.
And for good or ill, modern technology has brought increased input from enthusiastic fans.
And so now with mass communication being as prolific as it is, and the internet having the voice that it does, there is much more clamor from the user, and you hear a lot of opinions coming in from all around you, and a lot of pressure is put on game designers and game producers to really meet the demands of the users and to create the games that the users want. And I would really like to see more producers who are willing to break away from that and be more creative and create what they truly want to create.
This is something the entire industry has to deal with. And to his colleagues and budding game designers everywhere, Miyamoto has this bit of parting advice.
The one thing that I can say that I think is very important is that whatever you're creating, you should start by creating what you want to create and thinking about what you want to create, rather than trying to think about who you want to create something for. Because to me, that is where the importance lies.
Coming to the plate is Curt Schilling.
Coming up on a special edition of Extended Play, we hit a few balls with Curt Schilling and follow a dance troupe who's staging Mortal Kombat.
With a 38,000 horsepower V600 engine and a top speed of 5,000 miles per hour, AC Power and Associates calls Thunderbird 2 a bat out of hell. Thunderbird 2 packs the thrill of a sports car and the attitude of a tank in a sport utility that rules the road. Thunderbird 2. Only now with 0% financing and no money down. Available exclusively on the Thunderbirds. For showtimes, call your local cable operator.
Welcome back to Extended Play. Now here on the show, when we like to speak to sports stars, we like to go to the best.
3DO continues their strong baseball franchise with High Heat 2003. The game has been generating good reviews since it was released last month, and Curt Schilling of the Arizona Diamondbacks is the cover boy.
For me, it's always much easier to play the video game version because I can hit on that, and I can't hit in real life. So
coming to the plate is Curt Schilling.
There's a couple things I use as benchmarks in my career. One was seeing my first rookie baseball card. The other was seeing my first APBA baseball card, which was a board game I used to play, and this was a third. I play professional baseball, so I see a baseball cover, I usually face the guy or played against the guy, and now it's me. A lot of these endorsements are cash endorsements, and I don't need any more cash. But I saw a tremendous opportunity for generating more awareness for the cause.
The cause is Curt's pitch for ALS, which is a disease more commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease. The organization was started by Schilling and his wife about 10 years ago.
Curt's Pitch is basically a fan-based program that fans can sign up for Curt's Pitch and donate money to the ALS chapters in both Philadelphia and in Phoenix based on strikeouts.
Fastball.
And wins. I donate $100 a strikeout, $1,000 a win. And fans can sign up from $1 a strikeout to flat donations to $10 a strikeout.
So far, Curt's Pitch has raised over $1 million for ALS patients and research.
The portion of the proceeds from the sale of each unit goes to the ALS, Curt's Pitch for ALS, which has the ability, probably going to generate a huge amount of money, which is a fantastic thing. But probably more important is it creates awareness, more awareness.
Welcome to Arizona. It's a picture-perfect day for a ball game.
It's a devastating 100% fatal illness that with research going the way it's going, I think we're going to find a cure in the next decade.
3DO has indeed broken new ground with such an ambitious charity partnership.
I hope that someone out there, whether it be another company or another athlete, sees what this little team here has done and is going to do. And once the dollar figures come out at some point, I hope everybody understands that this is definitely a venture that a lot more companies would want to take.
Avatars is a full evening show that we at Capacitor built. It's inspired by video games, and it's a journey of 5 characters from being born to going through challenges, through becoming heroes, through then being reborn. I've always been interested in new technology and in fantasy because so much has developed and changed in video games over the last few years, and it's really such a creative field. Almost anything can be achieved now, and as a choreographer I find that really inspiring. Part of the reason why I wanted to work on a video game show was I was excited about choreographing fight scenes. And I also wanted to work with motion capture.
We're not saying games are good things or bad things. Some people take it to the extreme where all they do is play games or all they do is exist on screen and forget about their real life, and I think it's about attaining a balance.
In the beginning, the player is drawn into the game, and she's told that she needs to find each element. Then in the dark scene, the next scene, she runs into each element during their moment of darkness, and then the fights begin, battling the elements. And she starts playing each of the characters. I think that's a lot of fun, exploring what culturally we're learning from video games, because their presence is obviously getting stronger and stronger.
Art is created about what's going on around us, and that's what we're trying to do, create something about what we see and what we do all day and what everybody else is doing.
I know what it's like, brother. Coming up on a special edition of Extended Play, we get mad about cutscenes in gaming and get in the game with Snoop Dogg and Busta Rhymes.
If it's big, loud, fast and mean, you'll see it on Future Fighting Machines, the most powerful show on television. Watch Future Fighting Machines. For showtimes, call your local cable operator.
Welcome back to Extended Play. Now, you may have noticed on Extended Play, from time to time, we like to say what we think. Okay, actually, we always say what we think. But nothing seemed to stir a pot of emotions more than our take on Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty. So we thought, hey, what better way to close out the year than to stoke that fire one more time?
I got to work really early one morning so I could spend some quality time with
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Usually the interns are hogging the consoles, but at this hour, oh no. Okay, Al, show a little backbone. You may not have authority, but she's the intern. Hey, it worked. Sweet.
The Hudson River, 2 years ago. This is Snake. Do you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear photographic evidence of Metal Gear. As long as we have those, we can put it online and blow the whole thing away.
We are nomads, wanderers.
It's key structural points to blow it out of the water at the touch of this button. To the Patriots.
The Lale Lule Lo. How's that possible?
Otacon, we have a problem.
I was thinking the same thing.
Now, I don't think I'm the only one to have this problem with Metal Gear Solid 2. And to be fair, Metal Gear Solid 2 isn't the only game to have this problem. But for a game that is so high profile, it was a great disappointment to have so many moments where I wasn't able to play the game. Especially at the beginning of the second level, when you watch an interminable cutscene only to have very unengaging gameplay follow. You just walk down a hall, at the conclusion of which, you then watch another cutscene. Following that, you're walking down a hall only to watch another cutscene.
Did I tell you you could move? It's all right. He's not one of the bad guys.
I'm not saying that Metal Gear Solid 2 shouldn't have a story, but the game shouldn't have to stop down to have to tell it and then have gameplay that does nothing to forward the narrative. Now, another game that uses the same device and has as convoluted a story as Kojima's title is Deus Ex. But in this game, the cutscenes are spaced apart, and you see them after a long session of gameplay. It's almost like it's a reward. Another excellent example of this is Conker's Bad Fur Day, where you really want to see the cutscenes because they're so funny, but you only earn them after solving a puzzle within the game. I hate these guys. Games might not be the right venue to tell tales of that nature, and game makers might want to step out of the shadow of other media. Games are games, movies are movies. If you want a bunch of plot twists, there's always Dickens.
Music has always been an essential element in video games. Big-name musicians like Bare Naked Ladies have found their way into next-gen games like NHL 2002. To further this kind of partnership in their upcoming games, EA has started up a new division called EA Tracks, where they hope to spotlight music created for their games.
We're very aware that gamers turn off music when they're playing the game, and therefore wouldn't it be great to have EA Sports Tracks be a destination where new music, groundbreaking music can be found by somebody who's a gamer.
You can take this other stick while you're holding it like this, put it down. And my joint come on while you're playing the game. I want you to feel like you gotta stand up, you gotta grip the control a little tighter. You know what I'm saying? You just cringe your face up a little bit. You start talking garbage to the opponent you're playing against, and you know, you just build that real competitive spirit, and you know, music does that in a lot of ways.
It's in the game.
Take the charge, Shaq Daddy.
We made this song specifically for NBA Live 2003. You know, it was a song that I went in my studio, you know, took my time and watched it. I was watching NBA Live 2002 while I was actually making the song. To the hoop, y'all.
It's not just rappers and hip-hop artists involved with EA Tracks. Up-and-coming rock bands like LA's Epidemic are finding their way into games like Madden 2003.
Hopefully, you know, if the song comes on and the guy's playing the game, it'll get him more excited because he likes our song, and hopefully he'll play better.
Or if he sucks at the game, he's going to eventually hate our song.
EA Tracks isn't just focusing on football and basketball games. Hard-rocking Saliva lent music and voiceover talent to Tiger Woods' new golf game.
We've reached, like I said, the ultimate demographic, you know, because it's not just kids that are playing these video games, it's grown adults too.
It's always a privilege to just be a part of the start or the first or anything of that nature. It's always great to participate in pioneering anything.
What? You can't see my reign. It's EA Sports and Snoop Dogg. It's in the game.
Moving on into 2003, we're going to see even more music personalities getting in on gaming. In fact, an entire label, Def Jam Records, the home of some of the greatest rap acts in history, is starting their own line of video games. Now, if you'd like to learn more about that or any of the great things that happened in the year of 2002, you can go down memory lane at extendedplay.com. And while you're there, sign up for our newsletter, The Expansion Pack, so you can be up to date on everything that's going to happen on the show in 2003. Well, that's it for this edition of Extended Play. We'd like to thank Metreon for hosting us. And so until next time, Happy New Year and game over. Yeah, stir the pot of opinions. I'm playing some metaphorical games no one can handle. I'm working up here. Oh, can you eat the candy cane going in his bum?
Amazing. Engaging. Always entertaining. You're watching Tech TV.
Coming up on the final edition of Extended Play. Gaming keeps you from going outside, but how else can it help the environment? Giddy up! We see if Gallop Racer can create a virtual sea biscuit. And we return to the arts and magic of live-action role-playing. Stick around.
I told you I should have been along for the ride.
It's game time.
Hello and welcome to Extended Play, where playing games all day can actually get you a promotion. The ozone layer, the Amazon rainforest, video games. First glance, it doesn't seem like these things have much in common, but if you think about it, there are quite a few environmental messages hidden among all the shooting and the jumping. So, as part of Tech TV's Help the Planet Week, we asked the question, are games going green?
On nature, conservation of the environment. Both are naturally linked to die, bitch! Video games. Hey, I'm not kidding. I'll admit, most games are about the complete annihilation of other characters, countries, or maybe even worlds. And some of the more popular games don't tend to take the Earth or Earth-like organisms into consideration. Still, some games throw in a message or philosophy about the environment, whether you realize it or not.
I think there is a connection between gaming and some kind of awareness of the environment, although clearly it's unintentional.
Mankind has destroyed everything, and you're humanity's last hope.
Me? But I'm not military. Wasn't there anyone else?
It's clear that there are many video games that instill very positive values in people who play them. And in fact, I think anyone who has picked up a Will Wright game will talk about the kind of effect it had on the way they think about their life or the world around them by playing SimCity and looking at how trash influences the growth of a city.
Whether it's a city or industrial recycling or an ecosystem, I think that for me is one of the big values of games, is that, you know, a kid can sit there and play with this very complex system and start to realize that, you know, the obvious solution isn't always the right solution.
Munch's Odyssey is another great example in recent years of a game that teaches conservation, if not manners. The game quickly and clearly shows that people who ruin the environment suck.
Step right up. Oh!
Even a game like Mario Sunshine, which is a much more abstract look at what the effects of environmental hazards or, you know, garbage and oil spills and things like that. I think you are basically teaching the players something about how the world works and how to think about the world.
But I think moving forward, you're going to start to see more themes that kind of explore these kinds of ideas. You know, as goofy as some of the stories can wind up being in some of the Metal Gear and Final Fantasy games, there are actually good, you know, interesting lessons behind them.
And if we're lucky, maybe gamers will apply those lessons to real life. Coming up on Extended Play, if you like horses but don't like the stable smell, check out Gallop Racer. And it's another trip to the jungle this year with Line of Sight.
Welcome back to Extended Play. Littered among the bus driving simulators and games where you play a mosquito, one of the most popular game forms in Japan is horse racing. Now, while that sport isn't small time here in the States, we haven't seen much of it in video games. Well, things might change with Gallop Racer.
A horse racing game. How can that be a good thing? You might be surprised. Gallop Racers 2003 is one of the most subtle, strategy-oriented racers we've ever seen. You start your career with horses one step away from the glue factory. As you win races, you will get cashed by better and better horses. But you'll need a lot of patience. Until you get the hang of the subtle control scheme, you're going to get a lot of nice views of horses' butts from a distance. Run, you stupid nag! And subtle the controls are. A good start is a matter of hitting the start meter at just the right time. Lean forward just a bit to speed up. tug the reins to ease into the right position, and ever so lightly tap your mount for a burst of speed in the stretch. Right here, I'm not touching the controller at all. Each horse has its own unique traits. Some horses want to lead the whole race. Some are more comfortable staying in the pack until the last stretch. If you push a pack horse to the front too soon, you'll always get past at the end. Gallop Racers is not for everyone. If you want a game full of arcade action, stay away. But if you like NASCAR-style strategy, you can place a bet to win on Gallop Racer 2003. We give it a 4 out of 5.
Yahoo! You're the winner!
The claustrophobic jungle environment of America's war in Vietnam is the perfect setting for a first-person shooter, emphasizing stealth and surprise. Line of Sight Vietnam captures the feel of a Green Beret Special Operations with a single-player campaign featuring 12 missions.
The enemy were headed for the ruined buildings, dragging the injured co-pilot along.
Whatever your goal, you'll spend most of your time in Infogram's new title, crawling through the windblown underbrush while stopping every few feet to carefully scout for camouflaged enemies. Since most missions put you somewhere behind enemy lines, the jungle is teeming with Viet Cong soldiers who seem to have superhuman powers when it comes to detecting you. Countering their abilities is your own superpower, the sniper rifle. That's right. Walk softly and carry a big sniper rifle.
Open up on them.
Despite the availability of a dozen or so Arrow weapons, including but not limited to a rocket launcher, your sniper rifle will by far see the most action. In a nod towards realism, players can however die from a single hit, which happens a lot, especially when there's limited visibility. Man down! Although there are some solo missions, most of the game puts you in command of a two-person squad. You control both soldiers directly, albeit one at a time. Any squad members not directly under your control will do their best to follow your orders. Check your fire. And try and remember where we left the car. The terrain in Line of Sight Vietnam is among the best jungle design in a game yet. The variety of underbrush and tree life plus realistic rain and fog effects combine to give players some idea of the difficulty of close jungle combat. I don't know. Medic! At $20, Line of Sight qualifies as a worthy bargain title with above-average graphics and solid war-is-hell gameplay. We give it a suitably evil 3 out of 5. Coming up on Extended Play, we get baseball tips from the Anaheim Angels' David Eckstein. And like things that return frequently, the Army men are back. Welcome back to Extended Play. As you may know, we here at Extended Play are set to go Hulk and transform into our late-night incarnation, X-Play. So in honor of that, we're dusting off some fine memories from the past 4.5 years. And one of the things we love to do here on the show is find a sports star and apply their playing know-how to our gaming know-how. And nothing was better than to talk to an actual winner, as we did with David Eckstein, the lead hitter for the 2002 World Champion Anaheim Angels. High Heat 2003 is one of the latest baseball titles to hit the PC and the PS2. It also has all the home run excitement that you'd expect from the 3DO series. But if you can't stand the heat, then get out of the kitchen or go seek professional help. Extended Play did just that when we headed to the old ballpark and caught up with Anaheim Angels All-Star shortstop David Eckstein and got a few tips on the best way to knock them out of the park.
I'm the type of guy that likes to go out and play it first instead of reading the instructions. You know, play first, see how it feels, then go back and see what it is, what keys you need to be adjusting to. I never read the manual until I've already played it. And that game, I like to go the fastball way to start out. Later on, you know, it depends who you have pitching for you. Go with the slider and then the changeup. When you got like an 0-2 count, 1-2 count, or if they got runners in scoring position, you like to throw a little outside and see if they chase to get a ground ball or something, or just a swing and miss. It depends if you've got a fast runner on base. You know, if you have Erstad on there or something like that, you definitely would take off running. But, you know, some other guys, you just play station to station. If you have first and second, you know, use that bunt. But it's hard to bunt with just a man on first in that game. You want to swing for the home run, so you try to play aggressively, a lot more aggressively than in real life. I definitely try to swing for the fences in the game, but it's pretty much realistic. I usually get jammed a lot and have a ball fall right in front of the right fielder or something like that.
In an effort to milk the Heroes of Might and Magic franchise to death, 3DO has now unleashed Winds of War. This is the second expansion pack for Heroes 4 to see the light of day in less than a year. For fans of the long-running strategy series, this means 6 new campaigns to work through. Each one lets you play as an invading force in the land of Sharon. There's a barbarian, a wizard, a little pansy elf, and some undead skeleton dude, and...
Spasmaticus, a young king on a mad quest to rule the world.
Ooh, a mad quest? Count me in! The campaigns all play well, and the graphics and core rules of Heroes 4 have aged nicely. Developer New World Computing also included new musical selections, and they are the same high-quality compositions we've come to expect from the series. What we didn't expect was the slew of standalone scenarios that are actually amateur maps created by fans of the game. While some play quite well, others are not the quality you expect when you're shelling out cash for an expansion. In fact, at $30, Winds of War isn't worth it, as there's just not enough new material. Die-hard Heroes fans will no doubt run out and buy this anyway. But for the rest of you, save your money. Extended Play gives Heroes of Might and Magic 4 Winds of War a 2 out of
5. Green War efforts are seriously threatened. But the legend of the merciless Tan Baron has found few challengers brave enough to stop him.
Much as a newsreel about the mythical war between Green and Tan Army men might imply that there's some fun to be had with 3DO's latest offering for the GameCube, the simple fact of the matter is that the game is a total disappointment. Army Men Air Attack has already played out over other platforms, and fans of the series should probably get their heads examined. For the uninitiated, however, the game allows players to assume the role of veteran Green Army pilot Bill Blade.
I told you I should have been along for the ride.
Apparently, Bill is the only plastic ace with the chops to take down the rival Tan Uber pilot, Baron Von Beige.
I have arrived.
What follows is a series of 20 missions that play out over 10 real-world locations, very much like you might find in your own backyard. While this might sound like fun at a glance, I very much doubt the game can hold your interest beyond the first few levels.
I'll ride shotgun for you, man. Helping
Blade along are a couple of co-pilots whose areas of expertise vary between napalm bombs and being able to call in a parachute drop.
We're on the way!
Additionally, there are a variety of weapons power-ups available.
Machine gun!
And perhaps most notably is your chopper's ability to crane lift assorted objects like Sparky's dog food bowl here, and then toss them at your assorted enemy types. Whoop-de-doo! Unfortunately, none of this is executed very well, so you're going to end up fighting your sloppy controls more than an actual Tan Army. So much as we like the idea of escorting a Mr. Potato Face into hostile territory, we can only afford Army Men Air Attack the Elite missions, an underwhelming 2 out of 5.
CO2.
We're on the way!
Coming up on Extended Play, grab your face paint and a lot of imagination. We're LARPing. Welcome back to Extended Play. Rally racing is still something of a mud-splattered oddity in the U.S., nor is the racer Colin McRae exactly a household name. But Codemasters is working very hard to change all that, and the results are extremely pleasing. While it's true that Colin McRae Rally 3 offers fewer cars, gameplay modes, and tracks than its previous version, it features a muscular homebrewed game engine that really delivers. Since Colin McRae currently drives the Ford Rally Sport Team, when you play the game, that means you do too.
Ultimately, though, a selection of over a dozen cars are unlockable, as well as some modular car improvements and multiplayer options.
4 right tightens to 3 over crest.
Along for the ride in Championship mode is co-driver Nikki Grist, who supplies the navigational notes for you.
And 6 left, into left, and 5 right over crest.
Delivered in Grist's no-nonsense monotone, at first it may seem like gibberish. Soon, however, you'll find yourself taking them very seriously. Or else. Alternately, if you'd like to increase the overall gibberish factor, you can have them address you in French.
Prudence, long par-dessus crête.
What? Sounds awesome, doesn't it? Well, it is, for the most part. But a few minor annoyances keep it on the other side of the velvet rope from our 5-star lounge. For example, why does our speeding rally car occasionally knock a big A-frame boundary marking advertisement sign effortlessly aside, and yet get stopped cold when we hit a spindly road sign pole? That ain't right. Similarly frustrating, sometimes the boundary marking adverts will suddenly open up a can of a movable object on you. I'm all confused.
30.
These niggly inconsistencies aside, Colin McRae Rally 3 is a beautiful, realistic, and smooth translation of the rally racing experience. Challengingly addictive, we're giving it a check it out. 4 out of 5.
4 right over crest.
Ah, nature. Trees, the clean air, the silence, the nights, the elves, fighting, together. There's something serious happening here, and I'm going to find out what's going on.
Paradise!
I'm Caleb Durst. I'm a SAR, half feline, half human, basically.
I'm Midnight the Half-Orc, protector of Ecclesia.
What's going on?
There's a murder, attempted murder committed a week ago.
What's going on?
My friend, when you deal with nobles, everything goes much more out of proportion than it should be.
So what's going on exactly?
This man has attempted murder on a Blood Talon and an Earth Coalition member.
I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah! Orc power!
Apparently somebody has annoyed somebody else here. That much I know is going on.
Okay. Arrest him!
Why are you arrest him? Too magic!
Does it have a wall of power around it? No, then no, you don't have a battle arena.
What exactly is going on right here?
Right now what happened is some hill giants which are very tall. One of our friends, our half-orc, Midnight, the leader of our Earth Coalition, he got into an honorable combat. He got into an honorable combat as well as he held the mediator war as well as
All right, you a Niners fan?
Try to. Yes, I am.
Yeah, I saw that Mariucci thing coming from a mile away. How about you?
I don't know.
We're going to do this by the numbers, everyone. The fighters are going to be up front. We want casters backpacking the fighters. Who has life spells here? Raise your hand.
Onwards to victory!
Seems the battle has begun.
No matter how many times you see this, you really just can't get used to just the gravity of the carnage.
All right, come on, get the wood over here.
Just want to double check about why you have to burn the trolls after you kill them.
They regenerate. So if they burn them, they can't regenerate.
You never know when you're going to get hit with a death spell or something bad.
Right.
So you might as well enjoy what life you've got while you've got it. You know?
Oh, that's a very simple and beautiful philosophy, especially from a rat.
Another day of justice served.
It's the end of the day, and like all good warriors, it's time to go home. I've seen some orcs, I've seen some knights, I've seen some stuff I'm not going to forget anytime soon.
That has got to hurt. Really, he was one of the saddest looking jesters I ever did see. you'd like to learn more about live-action role-playing or live-action anything, you can find it all at our website, extendedplay.com. And while you're there, read the reviews for all the games covered on today's show. Well, this is it, the final episode of Extended Play, as we move on to a bigger, brighter, and racier future on X-Play starting April 28th. Now, that show's going to have a new set, so we've got to give a goodbye to the Metreon here. And I think I'm going to start to miss this place. All these memories.
Adam, you've been here for over 2 years. It's time to find a new arcade.
Okay, well, until X-Play, game over. Well, let me get my knapsack. You know, my bag's in there. Bye, Metreon. Bye, guy who works here. Bye, electronic information board. Bye, kid. Bye, security guard. Ow, my eyes hurt. This is so bright. Ow! That in the air is like fresh or something. I don't understand what's going on. What's all this stuff out here? What is everyone doing?